The regular meeting of the Aurora City Council is called to order. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Mayor Kaufman.
Here.
Councilmember Andrews.
Here.
Councilmember Bergen. Mayor Pro Tem Coombs.
Present.
Councilmember Gardner.
Here.
Councilmember Hancock. Councilmember Horton. Councilmember Jackson. Councilmember Lawson. Councilmember Medina.
Here.
And Councilmember Wiles. There's a quorum.
Please join me in an invocation. O Lord, our God and our Father, we come to you and we ask that you look upon this particular gathering tonight to keep us safe and guide us in our decisions. Bless our city with honorable citizens, industry, sound education, good government. Unite our community together, even though we come from different backgrounds. We pray that there be justice and peace in our city. Give the city council and citizens the wisdom, direction, and sensitivity to the business and proceedings before us tonight. Hear us, therefore, as we commit this meeting to the help of our entire community. Amen. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Land acknowledgement. The City of Aurora acknowledges that we gather on the territories and ancestral homelands of the Cheyenne, Ute, Arapaho, and Lakota peoples, past and present. We also recognize the 48 contemporary tribal nations that are historically tied to the lands that make up the state of Colorado. Indigenous peoples have remained committed to the stewardship of this land over many centuries. As these words of acknowledgement are spoken and heard, the ties that these nations have to their traditional homelands and to their vital place in the ecosystem are renewed and reaffirmed, and we are called to be better stewards of the land we inhabit as we continue to work to meet the needs of our entire community.
Mayor. Point of
Councilmember
privilege.
Medina.
Point of privilege.
You're recognized.
Thank you, sir. So I would just like to recognize the Lotus School and some of the students there. We'll bring a proclamation at a later date to have that formally sent. They've been able to do a lot of close the achievement gaps through a number of measures and interventions. But one of the coolest things that they've done is they've had a Saturday school program in which high school performance students volunteer to help their peers get up to grade level. These student volunteers are putting on some impressive hours of community service as well. And I want to make sure that we acknowledge them for doing this. They have approximately 20 high school seniors and juniors who help teachers with tutoring during regular school hours. They are placed in primarily middle school math and ELA classes according to the push and the method instructional support. They have done between 80 hours a week, which is about 1,360 hours over a month, a couple months. And I would just like to thank them, and we'll bring a proclamation, formally do that at a council session. So thank you, Lotus School of Excellence, for your youth advocacy and bringing attention to your youth. Thank you.
Executive session update. During executive session, we discussed oil and gas leases as well, oil and gas lease negotiations and labor negotiations. Motion is in order for the approval of the minutes for March 23rd, 2026.
Mayor.
Mayor Pro Tem.
So moved.
It's been moved by Mayor Pro Tem, seconded by Councilmember Wiles to approve the minutes from March 23rd, 2026. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, call for the question on the adoption of the approval of the minutes from March 23rd, 2026.
Mayor Kaufman,
Mayor votes yes.
Councilmember Andrews,
Yes.
Councilmember Jackson,
City attorneys.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously to adopt the March 23rd, 2026 City Council meeting minutes.
Swearing-in ceremony for Associate Judge and Relief Judges. Chief Municipal Chief Judge, Judge Day, Sean Day.
Test, test, test. I think I got it. Mayor, City Council, thank you for this great honor to swear in our new municipal judges. We'll begin with Aurora Kirchhofer. All right, if you want to come up. And friends and family, if you're here, if you want to come up closer so that you can take pictures and video, feel free to do so. Right after the swearing in, we'll have one of the family members do the robing ceremony. So come on up. Judge Stiggers, Judge Frigo, if you want to come up here as well, that would be great. Yeah, there you go. Judge Cursor, it's my great honor to administer your oath. I think you have everybody here. So if you raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Ari Kirchhofer,
I, Ari Kirchhofer,
having been duly appointed
having been duly appointed
as municipal judge
as municipal judge
for the city of Aurora, Colorado,
for the city of Aurora, Colorado,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will faithfully and impartially
that I will faithfully and impartially
administer the affairs of such office
administer the affairs of such office
in accordance with
in accordance with
the Constitution of the United States of America
the Constitution of the United States of America
and of the state of Colorado,
and of the state of Colorado,
and the ordinances of the city of Aurora,
and the ordinances of the city of Aurora,
to the best of my judgment and ability,
to the best of my judgment and ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
This is Judge Kirchhofer's family, his wife and son, if you want to do his robing. And zip it up? Yeah, for sure. It fits, it's a good sign. Congratulations, welcome to the bench. You're welcome. All right, next is Jennifer Torrington. Judge Torrington has an injured shoulder, so she'll do the best she can in raising her right hand. So do the best you can, okay? If you raise your right hand, repeat after me. I, Jennifer Torrington,
I, Jennifer Torrington,
having been duly appointed
having been duly appointed
as municipal judge
as municipal judge
for the city of Aurora, Colorado,
for the city of Aurora, Colorado,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will faithfully and impartially
that I will faithfully and impartially
administer the affairs of such office
administer the affairs of such office
in accordance with
in accordance with
the Constitution of the United States of America
the Constitution of the United States of America
and of the state of Colorado,
and of the state of Colorado,
and the ordinances of the city of Aurora,
and the ordinances of the city of Aurora,
to the best of my judgment and ability,
to the best of my judgment and ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. Welcome to the bench. Judge Stiggers is going to help out with the robing. So you did it, even with your injured shoulder. Good job. Yeah, looks good. Congratulations. Welcome to the bench. You bet. Next is Allison Foley. Judge Foley's sons and her husband. Judge Foley, it's my great honor to administer your oath. If you raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Allison Foley,
I, Allison Foley,
having been duly appointed
having been duly appointed
as municipal judge
as municipal judge
for the city of Aurora, Colorado,
for the city of Aurora, Colorado,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will faithfully and impartially
that I will faithfully and impartially
administer the affairs of such office
administer the affairs of such office
in accordance with
in accordance with
the Constitution of the United States of America
the Constitution of the United States of America
and of the state of Colorado
and of the state of Colorado
and the ordinances of the city of Aurora
and the ordinances of the city of Aurora
to the best of my judgment and ability,
to the best of my judgment and ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. Welcome to the bench.
Thank you.
Good job, guys. It's always important to help mom. Congratulations. Next is Eric Hutchins. Eric, come on up. I think you know the drill now, so raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Eric Hutchins,
I, Eric Hutchins,
having been duly appointed
having been duly appointed
as municipal judge
as municipal judge
for the city of Aurora, Colorado,
for the city of Aurora, Colorado,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully and impartially
that I will faithfully and impartially
administer the affairs of such office
administer the affairs of such office
in accordance with
in accordance with
the Constitution of the United States of America
the Constitution of the United States of America
and of the state of Colorado
and of the state of Colorado
and the ordinances of the city of Aurora
and the ordinances of the city of Aurora
to the best of my judgment and ability,
to the best of my judgment and ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations. Welcome to the bench. Judge Frigo, thank you for your help. Looks good. Yep, it fits. Congratulations. Zachary Phillips. Zach, it's my great honor to administer your oath. If you raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Zachary Phillips,
I, Zachary Phillips,
having been duly appointed
having been duly appointed
as municipal judge
as municipal judge
for the city of Aurora, Colorado,
for the city of Aurora, Colorado,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will faithfully and impartially
that I will faithfully and impartially
administer the affairs of such office
administer the affairs of such office
in accordance with
in accordance with
the Constitution of the United States of America
the Constitution of the United States of America
and of the state of Colorado
and of the state of Colorado
and the ordinances of the City of Aurora
and the ordinances of the City of Aurora
to the best of my judgment and ability,
to the best of my judgment and ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. Zach's wife. Looks good. Congratulations. You bet. Welcome. Is Troy Johnson here? Troy, did you make it yet? Oh, there you are. I see you now. Sorry. That was my mistake. I did. Come on down. Welcome. Come on up. Welcome, welcome. Hi, guys. Troy, it's my great honor to administer your oath, so if you raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Troy Johnson,
I, Troy Johnson,
having been duly appointed
having been duly appointed
as municipal judge
as municipal judge
for the City of Aurora, Colorado,
for the City of Aurora, Colorado,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will faithfully and impartially
that I will faithfully and impartially
administer the affairs of such office
administer the affairs of such office
in accordance with
the
Constitution of the United States of America
Constitution of the United States of America
and of the State of Colorado,
and of the State of Colorado,
and the ordinances of the City of Aurora,
and the ordinances of the City of Aurora,
to the best of my judgment and ability,
to the best of my judgment and ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Thanks, Judge.
Yeah, right? Exactly. Well, Mayor and City Council, thank you again for your consideration. I'm honored to serve with each and one of the judges. Thank you so much for joining our team. I look forward to working with all of you. Thank you. Appreciate it. You bet. All right, I understand that I have some city attorneys to swear in as well, so if we could have the entire group come up, city attorneys. Yeah, we'll do it all for your judges. Yeah, yep, yeah. Oh, absolutely, yeah, you bet.
Whoa.
Keep moving down. And again, any friends or family, if you want to come down and take pictures, feel free to do so. So the way we're going to do this is I'll start by saying I, have each of you state your name individually, and then we'll continue with the oath together. And we'll start down here at this end, okay? So if each of you could raise your right hands and repeat after me. I, having been duly appointed as an assistant city attorney for the City of Aurora, Colorado, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will faithfully and impartially administer the affairs of such office in accordance with the Constitution of the United States of America and of the State of Colorado, and the Charter and ordinances of the City of Aurora, to the best of my judgment and ability. So help me God. Congratulations to you all.
All right, this has been several months. We didn't hire all these people in the last 2 weeks, is what you all know. Thanks, Joe.
A motion is in order for the adoption of the agenda.
Mayor,
Councilmember Bergen. Mayor Pro Tem.
so moved.
It's moved by Mayor Pro Tem, seconded by?
Bergen.
Seconded by Councilmember Bergen. For the adoption of the agenda, discussion? Seeing no discussion, call for the question on the adoption of the agenda.
Mayor Kaufman,
Mayor votes yes.
Councilmember Andrews, Councilmember Jackson. The motion passes unanimously to adopt the agenda.
Public invited to be heard. Decorum announcement. City Council has established this public forum to receive input from the community. The public invited to be heard portion of the meeting is limited by council rules to a total of 1 hour, with each speaker allotted 3 minutes. Speakers signed up to comment on agenda items are also limited to 3 minutes, and comments must be relayed directly to the item being considered. If you're here for an agenda item, please wait for that. That's not a part of public invited to be heard. All participants are expected to observe the same standards of decorum as the council. Personal attacks, disruptive behavior, and demonstrations are prohibited. Please show respect to all speakers regardless of whether you agree with their comments, and allow everyone the opportunity to be heard. Speakers who exceed the 3 minutes time limit reduce the opportunity for others to speak. Please be considerate of your fellow residents when preparing your comments. Additionally, please refrain from using profanity. Public invited to be heard.
First person is Tanya Tabachek, followed by Jeffrey McFarland.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. I'm Tanya Tabachek, a member of Ward 3. Lived in Aurora for over 20-some years. First thing I want to talk about, I guess, is regarding the admin discussion that I was hearing you guys talk about today at study session. I was trying to understand that a little bit in reference to, I guess, the reserve of funds that is already allocated. I'm just trying to understand, I guess, with the funds of reserves, by what is already there. Is those reserve of funds allocated there enough for several years? Or is it just
We'll see.
for 1 year? So that would be nice to know for the constituents to know that, because that's a good point of view right there to know that. And the constituents would need to know that as well. Another factor is, and Bergen, you made really good points during the study session. Thank you for bringing that up, because the constituents are a major factor in that. And also, each one, I don't know what the admins do. That would be also a good point to put out to the constituents of what they do and how they help you guys and what they do as the matter of fact as well. There's another fact about the street racing. The media seems to bring that fact now, saying, oh, look at the street racing, it's dangerous and it's a major issue. This has been brought up time and time again to you guys. I know for a fact that I've brought this up several times. So has my parent, my mom. So it's not a dead issue. It's not an issue that now all of a sudden it's a big issue brought up by the media. No, that's a bunch of bullcrap because it's an ongoing issue. So the media saying that is a bunch of not true. So, I mean, we need to get together and we need to research this and get it done and take care of that. So I just wanted to make a point of that and state that as a fact and just research that a little bit more. And another factor, one other thing is regarding the caregivers and the legislation thing. I know that there's several different things that Aurora needs to be concerned of about legislation. There are a lot of people in Aurora that are caregivers, okay? And they need to be, and that needs to be, is very serious, that those caregivers, when they get the less of the money, that's going to hurt a lot of the constituents in Aurora. So that needs to be a very situation that needs to be looked at in the legislation as well. Thank you.
Jeffrey McFarland, followed by Ayante Anderson.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council. My name is Jeffrey McFarland. I'm a resident of Ward 1 in Aurora. I already know that just based on my presence, I already lose about half of the audience here. So for anybody who is still listening, including the people behind me and the people tuning in at home, for anybody who's wondering why we continue to revisit this place, why we continue to represent people like the Denver Aurora Community Action Committee and the litany of families that are trying to fight for some type of justice against like APD's police brutality, is because over a year ago, Kylan Lewis was killed in the parking lot of his apartment, unarmed, hands in the air, I ain't got nothing. I brought this as a fun prop. A buddy of mine likes to do this too. This is the Constitution of the United States. I can just sit here and flip through this if you like and list the ways in which this man's constitutional rights were completely taken away from him with no form of due process. That's actually one of the things in here, like a bunch of times, is the no due process. So for anybody who doesn't know, APD has a long seasoned history of violating people's 4th, 5th, 14th, 1st, and a litany of other amendment rights, because apparently when they say the right to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, life is theoretical. Hold on, Curtis, I'm getting there. But the thing about it is that there has been no form of due process whatsoever. Originally, the only demand from these folks, from these families, was an apology, and now we're here. So, to speed things along a little bit, originally we were asking about how we fire Todd Chamberlain, because he sucks, and nobody in Aurora actually asked for him specifically. I'm just saying, Mayor Kaufman, we didn't pick him. But I also found out that since we keep asking if Jason Batchelor is the city manager, and the city manager is the one who appoints the police chief, and the city manager doesn't want to help us get rid of the police chief, whether it's because of something in the police chief's contract or some other, I don't know, there's been zero context. So we have no idea why they don't want to get rid of the police chief who is proud of his time in the LAPD during Rodney King riots. So I found out that the way we get rid of the city manager is with a majority vote of city council, or like at least that's how we replace the city manager. I don't know. I don't really know what more there is to explain. The too long didn't read is like, we want justice, we want accountability, we want harm reduction, we want literally anything at all whatsoever besides community committees put together by the police chief. Like, I was there at the same meeting you were at, Mayor Kaufman, down there in Delmar Circle, but I fucking live in that neighborhood, man. Like, I live there. So when you tell me that the increased police presence in my neighborhood consisting of drones as opposed to, like, beat cops, like, I don't even want the beat cops, but my point is that the beat cops would be part of the community. In what way are drones part of the community? So, either fire Todd Chamberlain, fire Jason Batchelor, or we'll see you soon.
Ayante Anderson, followed by Median Schaffner.
Good evening, Aurora City Council. Yesterday, many in this city celebrated Easter. the story of a man arrested by authorities, tried under political pressure, and executed by the state to preserve order. A story where power believed it could silence truth, contain justice, and bury a movement. And in that story, the scripture asks a single question: why do you seek the living among the dead? He is not here. And the question is, what do we do when that story is no longer scripture but reality? That story matters here tonight because we are still grappling with what it means when the state takes a life and calls it lawful. We are still grappling with systems that ask families to accept loss without accountability, to accept silence instead of answers, and to accept procedure in place of justice. And yet, the Easter story reminds us what systems try to bury, the people will always bring it back to the light. But we know that the story did not end there. And so today, as you sit in this chamber, there are families in Aurora still living in grief, waiting for justice, still navigating systems that protect power instead of people. Because when accountability is delayed, denied, or dismissed, that is not justice. When those entrusted to protect us and they take a life without consequence, that is not safety. When leadership chooses comfort over silence, that is a failure of governance. And let us be honest about what we are witnessing. Unarmed Black people in your city continue to lose their lives at the hands of APD. And too often systems close rank, justify the unjustifiable, and attempt to seal the truth behind process and procedure. In the Easter story, it was the Roman soldiers who enforced the will of the state. They stood guard over a borrowed tomb, believing that power could contain truth, believing that authority could outlast justice, but they were wrong. So the question before this council is simple. Will you stand with the systems that guard the tomb, or will you stand with the people who demand that it be opened? Because history has already shown us how this story ends. The stone will be rolled away, whether you stand in front of it or not. Thank you.
Blasphemy.
Median Schaffner, followed by Della Jord.
So oftentimes, or I shouldn't say oftentimes, but there are times where people will ask me, why did I become an advocate for the community, and what that journey was like to get to the place that I'm at. And it's probably one of my most favorite parts of the work that I do because I get to talk about my ancestors. So I was privileged to know that one of my great ancestors was a weaver, an enslaved weaver on the plantation that she worked. And her responsibility was to ensure that she was able to weave cloth and things like that to preserve the finances of the plantation owners. When she was doing that, oftentimes the thread that she was trying to weave would get tangled. It would get really knotted. And so she had to exalt patience and stop her progress to untie the knots of the thread that she was using to weave. And I'll never forget listening to those stories. They would say that when she would recount, she would say that the progress happened the moment she could see the light between the thread. And so as someone that has been walking alongside the families of those who are asking you for change, I'm here to let you know that we have seen an opportunity where the light potentially might be coming through that thread. So it is a challenge to you all as leaders, and it also is a challenge to us as community. Because we've been in touch with one of the council members amongst your council, and we have presented an ordinance proposal to be considered in order to identify how we can find the changes that are needed for this city, not only for these families, but for everyone's family. because these families have fought not only for their loved ones, but even if it doesn't feel like it, they're fighting for your loved ones too. So what that is going to call for is going to call for the walls of pride to crumble down. And it's going to call for us to replace that with empathy. But please know and understand that the community is coming with expectations of change. And there are going to be spaces where we have to be immovable. And so you all are called to be adaptive leaders. That is your responsibility because you don't have power. You have a responsibility. So I am here to simply just put you on notice that your leadership will be at the height of exposure because those that stay are going to be the ones that we're going to be able to advise for a harder change.
Della Jord. Della Jord.
Jordan?
It says Della Jord, but
That's you, Miss Della.
Yep.
Is there any other Della in the room? That's the one and only, Miss Della.
Aurora Navigation Center and the Aurora Police, Mayor Kaufman, Chief, I believe, Chamberlain, Guy Nidelweider, Dale Brask, Misty Collier, Alex, the security, Ashley Staff, Sergeant Michelle Willoughby, Officers Marrero and Rubino. These officers need to be retrained or they need to go back to school, maybe starting from the third grade. I'm a civil servant who worked for the Department of Defense and the Department of Army. I lived in 7 states, in Germany 3 times, Berlin, Hanau, and Nuremberg. I am disciplined and have never been discriminated against until now. I've tried very hard not to play the race or gender card, but I see it is warranted. I'm not going away, and I will continue to speak my truth. Someone will hear me and will make changes, help me and others abused at that center by staff, security, and Aurora Police officers. Thinking that the center was for individuals without homes, I was shocked to see the businesses being conducted under that roof. There's also pros pimped out by staff members. I did not want to discuss the ugly things which happened to me, but since ARNC employees and volunteers continue to cause me personal, mental, and physical injury, let's get it all out to the public at once because I'm having nightmares, uncomfortable, and afraid to return to that building. Even though I'm not there, staff wants to give me marching orders on how to conduct myself when I return, like forget everything that happened in the past. August 2025, I was harassed in 3 different ways by a security guard, the brother of a staff member. I complained and was kicked out for 3 days because this 200-pound male pressed his penis against my ass, kissed the back of my neck, raised up my dress, touched my breast, and made other several sexual advances. When I am to leave and when I am to return, I ask for a printed signature of Ashley and Alex, the people who put me out when I was moved from the center, and I was told I would not be receiving that. I want copies of the pictures and/or video made of my sleeping area. For over 6 weeks, I have requested copies of every sheet of paper with my signature on it. In the police report 2026-42556, I would like anybody who can get a copy of that, because this report looked like it was written by a 5-year-old.
Joel Benjamin, followed by Aaron Contreras.
Russell. Some more.
Good evening, Mayor and councilors. Tonight I am here to discuss both the anniversary of the Americans' liberation of Hitler's Buchenwald camp, as well as what's happening now in our country. Oaths of loyalty to the Constitution are not unusual here. Mayor Kaufman took the oath on several occasions as a member of Congress. Councilor Hancock did the same when joining the armed forces. I know this is important to you because you have told us it is important to you. This Saturday, April 11th, is the anniversary of American soldiers liberating the Buchenwald concentration camp. My grandfather survived and was 17 years old the day he was liberated. He moved to Aurora. He took the same oath as Councilor Hancock when he chose to serve in Korea. The Americans were liberators at one time in the past, but as my grandfather feared and vocally warned, the most horrific events of the last century would be and are now being repeated. This is happening now. This is happening in America, in Colorado, in Aurora. I will read to you quotes from two primary texts today, papers and accounts of my grandfather's time enduring the war, and these two reports produced by Casa de Paz and other organizations on the conditions inside Aurora's own concentration camp. My grandfather, on the food in Buchenwald, mid-1940s. Our daily food consisted of a piece of dry bread and a ladle of soup and maybe a few cabbage leaves. The community report on the food at the Aurora Geo prison, mid-2020s, realistically last 6 months. Lunch today was a third cup of beans, quarter cup canned corn, 1 to 2 pieces of lettuce, half a piece of bread, and a baby spoon-sized serving of something unidentifiable without color. This is happening now. My grandfather on health conditions at Buchenwald. Last winter I had body lice. They ate me alive, so I had to check myself nearly every evening. The community report on the conditions at Aurora. My feet are swelling and the doctor gave me different socks to wear. I have gotten the wrong medication 2 or 3 times. One of the times I had an adverse reaction to the medication I got. I couldn't breathe, I was choking. This is happening now. In this season of Passover and Easter, where we celebrate breaking chains and divine counsel, we must set aside our zealous relationship with Donald Trump and his Fugitive Slave Act-era roving military, who used bullets to confront humans yearning to be free. This is happening now. Some of us took an oath to this Constitution, but living in a society is itself a social contract. Where is the due process for the black men lynched by Aurora's police department? Is it hidden in the same place as due process for those killed by DHS? I'm nearing my time. I encourage you all to read these reports.
Aaron Contreras, followed by Kiowa Lewis.
Good afternoon, City Council. Thank you for the opportunity to allow me to speak. My name is Aaron Contreras. I'm a representative with the Carpenters Union Local 555 here in the state of Colorado. And I'd like to bring an issue up to you guys that I'm not sure if you guys are actually aware that happens, not only in Aurora, but the entire state of Colorado. Tax fraud. April 6th to 18th is Tax Fraud Days of Action. And I'd like to read to you a few of the things that tax fraud affects, not only the workers, but also our communities. So, tax fraud in this context most often occurs when employers deliberately misclassify workers and underreport wages to avoid paying required taxes, such as payroll taxes, unemployment insurance, and workers' compensation. Instead of treating skilled carpenters as employees, some contractors misclassify them as independent contractors on paper, when in reality they're managed and directed like regular employees. This practice may seem like a bookkeeping technicality, but its consequences are significant. First, it harms the workers. Carpenters who are misclassified are denied basic protections, overtime pay, unemployment benefits, workers' compensation coverage. If they're injured on the job, it's on them. No one has their back. Second, it creates unfair competition. Law-abiding contractors who follow tax and labor laws are undercut by those who cheat. Companies engaging in tax fraud can submit lower bids on public and private projects because they are illegally cutting the costs. This puts responsible contractors at a disadvantage and pressure the entire industry, and it's a race to the bottom to see who can pay the cheapest on projects. And lastly, it reduces public revenue. Every single constituent of the city of Aurora is affected by tax fraud. This is not an abstract issue. Our members take pride in their work. They pay their taxes and contribute to the community. They deserve a level playing field and in the assurance that the rules apply to everybody. So we urge Aurora City Council to strengthen enforcements when it comes to supporting responsible contractor standards and ensure that taxpayer-funded projects go to contractors who comply with the law. Transparency and accountability and proper classification of workers are key steps towards protecting both workers and the public interest. Thank you guys very much. I appreciate your time.
Katie, can you send us the contact information, please?
Councilmember Wiles and Horton?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
And me as well, please, Kitty.
Okay. Kiowa Lewis, followed by K-Dot.
One thing I love about the scriptures that we actually all so-called read is that you can actually tell a tree by the fruit that it bears, right? So we have Exodus, and I want to go ahead and go off of this. I look at you, Mike Kaufman, and I see that you are Pharaoh, and I see that Pete Schultze is actually your right-hand man, right? But the thing is, we have Moses and Aaron on our side. So the thing I want y'all to understand is when I tell you, when you read the book of Moses and you see the death that comes to the Egyptians and to their firstborns and to all these people that choose not to actually acknowledge the Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob as far as the descendants, which is us, the wrath is coming. And I told y'all this before I even got here. Been up here about like 2 years now. But y'all are still not heeding the warning. But I guarantee you, y'all will start to heed the warning. I've told y'all, and I'm dead serious, our Lord and Savior, Yeshua, does not play about us. He doesn't. He doesn't play about his children, where he's chosen, right? And the thing is, y'all choose to still keep everybody enslaved and still kill those, by the police officers that y'all hire in the force and things like that. They still go and kill, but y'all still have not done anything to this very day. But just know that that day is coming where y'all are going to wish that y'all would have done something. And you're not going to be safe. This is not a threat for me. I'm a vessel of the Most High, right? This is what Yahweh tells me to let you guys know and what to be expected. So it's not a game. It's coming. Stephanie, Mike, Pete. I see France, how you say your name? France, I'm not being racist. Françoise, cool. It's coming. It's coming. No disrespect to you, but I'm just letting you guys know that it's on its way. So, in addition to that, we want to sit up here and give a special thanks to the one who's been fighting for this city. It's Median. Median has been here and has been showing up for people as well. This is our Moses. This is the person that's actually going to lead us all to the promised land because we are the Israelites, right? If y'all don't know, I mean, Pharaoh had his God, you know, that he followed, which was a false deity. Same thing with you, Mike Kaufman. I'm calling it out. I'm saying what it is. I see that you say this scripted prayer, and it has no meaning. It's all in vain. Everything that you say is in vain. And same thing with you, Pete. You're holding this up. It's coming, y'all. So I just want to say thank you.
KDOT, followed by Prophet Shell West.
Good evening, Aurora. Good evening, City Council, and the people of Aurora. This is a perfect opportunity for you to step outside of your party and actually be collaborative, transparent, and work together as a team, especially for the people, because you don't work for a party, you work for the people of this city. We're the most diverse city in the nation, so we need to start acting like it. So I need all of you guys to put you guys' head together and support this particular ordinance that's being bestowed upon you. It will keep the police accountable, safe, and also our citizens safe as well. And again, I need you guys to think outside yourselves and to actually think about the people, because the people who was the one who came up with this particular ordinance that's also adhering to the city charter. So my challenge is to you to work together, put your heads together, and actually come up with more of a solution than any more problems. And I believe the City Council can actually do that. So that challenge is up to you. And the thing is, for you to have a testimony, you must be tested. So what is your testimony going to be to your legacy, to your family, and the most importantly, the people who pay your salary, the taxpayers? So I ask you to do the right thing. Thank you.
Prophet Shell West, followed by Francisco Soto.
Good evening. 2 weeks ago, I came here and heard the cries of the oppressed calling out for justice. I asked, how long have you been at this? For 2 years, they came before you. God has heard their cries. As I was praying and as I was studying today, this is what the sovereign Lord has said in Daniel 5. O Lord, the Most High God, gave Nebuchadnezzar your father kingship and greatness and glory and majesty. And because of the greatness that he gave him, all peoples, nations, and languages trembled and feared before him. Whom he would, he killed, and whom he kept alive, whom he would, he kept alive. Whom he would, he raised up, and whom he would, he humbled. But when his heart was lifted up, and his spirit was hardened, so that he dealt proudly, he was brought down from his kingly throne, and his glory was taken from him. He was driven from among the children of mankind, and his mind was made like that of a beast, and his dwelling was with the wild donkeys. He was fed grass like an ox, and his body was wet with the dew of heaven. He was fed grass until he knew that the Most High God rules the kingdoms of mankind and sets over it whom he will. And you know this, have not humbled your hearts, though you knew this, but you have lifted up yourself against the Lord of heaven. And the vessels of his house have been brought in before you, which do not hear or see, but the God whose breath is in his hands, and whose all his ways you have not honored. So this is what the inscription said on the wall: Mene, mene, tekel, and parsin. This is the interpretation of the matter, meaning God has numbered the days of your kingdom and brought it to an end. Tekel, you have been weighed in the balances and found wanting. Perez, your kingdom is divided and given to the Medes and Persians. And that very night, King Belshazzar, the Chaldean whom he was speaking with, was killed, and the kingdom passed to Darius the Mede. This passage helps you understand that God judges the kings and kingdoms. He brings them up and he establishes them, and he can bring them down. He judged King Belshazzar because of his arrogance and his lack of honor and reverence for him. And God is the one who holds leaders accountable, whether you believe in him or not. He explains that God sees all, he knows all, and everything is not hidden from him. He repays according to your actions and your lack of action thereof. And so pride cometh before the fall. And as we have seen in the lives of many men and women throughout history, we must humble ourselves before him and do what is right in his eyes. Thank you.
Francisco Soto, followed by Janet Martin.
Hey, Katie, can you send Councilmember Andrews her contact information?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Francisco Soto. I'm a resident of Aurora. On March 30th, 2026, near the intersection of, in a neighborhood near the intersection of Colfax and Kingston, a 57-year-old woman named Hilda Lorena Cifuentes was attacked by 3 pit bulls. They almost killed her. I personally visited the site and video recorded the main witness, the woman who was across the street and witnessed it from the beginning and was the first responder to help. She threw rocks at the dogs and got the attention of passerbys and grabbed somebody and told them to call 911. The woman wasn't that visible from the road because she was in her backyard and she had a chain link fence, so you could see through the chain link fence. That's how the woman across the street saw her. This is the information I got from the witness, and it's really disturbing. It was at a duplex. A new neighbor moved in, and that had the 3 pit bulls. The backyard is just one big backyard. It's not separated by a fence. The woman walked to the backyard. She opened the gate. She was in the front. She opened the backyard gate. She turned around, closed it, and when she went to go pick something up or clean up the area, the dogs came around the corner and attacked her for no reason. They almost killed her. They bit her face, her arms, her legs. She might get her foot amputated. The news didn't give that much accurate information, and they didn't show all the pictures. If you go to her GoFundMe page, they're really gruesome. The witness told me that after somebody called 911, it took 20 minutes for police to arrive and the fire department. That neighborhood has a lot of police activity there. There's no reason it should take 20 minutes for the police to show up. What was even worse was the ambulance showed up after the police and the fire department. There's a hospital a mile away. The police, the main witness, they didn't write her name down, tell her to write a statement, get her contact information, and she told me that the police didn't get the other witnesses' contact information or get written statements. I do public records requests. I'm gonna do a public records request on this, and I want you guys to release that information because I believe the public should know what happened. You know, I saw, you know, I've reported dogs, stray dogs. Officers didn't show up at all until they came to get the dog. That's all I have to say.
Katie?
Janet? Yep.
Katie, can I get his contact information, please?
Yes.
Thank you. And me as well, please, Katie.
Okay.
Can't the owner be charged? Oh, sure, it should go.
Janet Martin, followed by Tristan Hust. Janet Martin. Okay, Tristan Hust. Okay, Veronica Seabrun, followed by T-Tag. Oh, I'm sorry.
Good evening, Aurora City Council. My name is Tristan, and I am here with the Denver Aurora Community Action Committee, DACAC. I'm here for one reason tonight. The same reason I've been here before, the same reason our community keeps showing up, meeting after meeting, begging you to act. Fire Todd Chamberlain. That's it. That's the speech. But since I have 3 minutes, let me remind you why. Todd Chamberlain came to Aurora with a record so stained it should have disqualified him immediately. He was a commanding officer in the LAPD during the Rodney King beatings and the riots that followed. He was sued and lost a discrimination case for allowing officers to racially harass a black officer, costing a city $1.2 million. He was transferred out of his position for extensive racial and sexual harassment in his own department. That man was hired to lead a police force under a federal consent decree for being racist. Let that sink in. Since he arrived, the killings have not stopped. The cover-ups have not stopped. Corey Dillard, Kylan Lewis, Rashad Johnson, Rajon Belt Stubblefield, 17-year-old Avi Ball Mason, name after name after name. And what does Chamberlain do? He lies. He calls dead teenagers terrorists. He calls murder victims mass shooters. He goes on the news and smears their names while his officers walk free. But when the FBI catches one of his own, a pedophile cop at Hinckley High, suddenly Todd Chamberlain has a lot to say. He called it a sad and angering day. He said that the officer brought shame and disgrace to the badge. He mourns the cop. He defames the dead. That is who leads the APD, and you let him. You have the power to change this. All you have to do is instruct the city manager to fire him. That's it. One action, one sentence, your vote. Yet here we are, again, begging, again. The community does not trust the police. That is not an accident. It is the result of decades of violence, cover-ups, and silence from this council. And Todd Chamberlain is not fixing it. He's making it worse. So tonight, I'm not asking for another study. I'm not asking for more training. I'm not asking for a committee. I'm demanding that you fire Todd Chamberlain. And then after you do that, give us real community control of the police, a civilian police accountability council, power in the hands of the people, not the people who hurt us. You can do this. The question is whether or not you have the courage. Thank you.
Veronica Seabron, followed by T-Tag.
I stand here tonight not only as the mother of Jalen Sebron, but as one of many mothers, sisters, and families whose loved ones were taken with no real consequences. I stand here carrying Jalen's name along the side of names of Kylan Lewis, Rajon Belt Stubblefield, and so many others whose stories were cut short, whose deaths were met with silence instead of accountability. Their lives were stolen, and yet the systems that failed them continued unchanged. No protection, no transparency, no justice for the families left behind. Council members, we tried and we're still trying to work with you, trying to make Aurora safe, trying to make the city the first to lead. We asked you to stand with us. Don't continue to let the request just turn into pleads, and those pleads turn into tears, and those tears go into puddles that you just walk over. There is still work that can be done at the local level. An ordinance has been submitted for your review. An ordinance built from lived experiences, from community input, from the failures we have witnessed, and from the protections that should have existed long before any of those lives were taken. This is your opportunity to show leadership. This is your opportunity to swallow and stand as responsibility elected officials. This is your opportunity to collaborate, not to resist, not to delay, not to hide behind symbolic gestures. Because this fight will not remain local, but it still begins here. There are patterns that cannot be ignored across Colorado. Councils refusing to stand up and families left without answers, and justice shifting depending on zip codes. But statewide action does not erase your responsibility, it highlights it. Local leadership still matters. Local protection still matters. Local courage still matters. We need protections that could have changed the stories of all of the names that have been mentioned. Protections that could have changed for Kylan Lewis, Rajon Belt Stubblefield, for my son, Jalen Sebron, in other counties. So many other names that deserve much more time than what you guys give. You still have the opportunities and the choice to act and the choice to lead. You have the choice not to just sit and keep the seat warm for the next. Don't be just a seat warmer. Protect the community you claim to serve. We, the living victims, will continue to stand for the fallen ones, and I will continue to say that repeatedly and endlessly. I will repeat the names until you're able to recite them. Council members, you have a choice. Come to the table and collaborate on real change, or be remembered as the ones who looked away from the families who came to you pleading, begging, and crying.
Yes, T-Tag.
Hola, putos, except for some of you. Again, Tavara, lifelong Aurora resident. I'm here to talk about how leadership comes from the top down. And I'm not happy, clearly. We've got some institutionalized people that can't even look up here when I'm talking to you. We're going to talk about how our mayor's famous. Look at that. Can everybody see that? I don't know if everybody's read the Sentinel this week. It says, wrong turn in the navigation campus. You guys should really keep up with this paper. It's really good. You know that song on TikTok, I want to be popular? It always reminds me of our fun regime. Anyway, so he's popular with the paper, he's popular with our citizens, he's popular when he cosplays homelessness and accounts it to drugs and people choosing to be. He's popular with his staff and his council and the cops and whoever because they can do whatever they want and not be accountable to their own actions, which is clear when we have a chief of Nazi of police, sorry.
Oh, bless you.
We have a Nazi of police recruiting at Trump rallies and whatever. But anyway, I want to talk about facts. So, facts never lie. Data never lies. We have a report card to talk about the APD. 37% overall rating, 22% accountability. If you are black, you are 4.6% as of 2023 to be more likely killed by the APD. 1.8% if you are Latino, 60% more capita per person of funding than any other department in the United States per person. And JFK had a leadership, or had a saying that said, leadership and learning are indispensable to each other. Leadership and learning. I feel like there's just a lot of leadership here, like not a lot of learning. And that's why there should be like caps on leadership. You can't go from like one thing to another because then you just become institutionalized and then you're dehumanized. And this is what happens when this happens. And then you're just like, oh, well, people are getting killed. And then you hire people like the chief of police that you have. So don't do that. You're not a good person.
That was the last individual.
Katie, can I get her contact information?
Yes.
And Mayor, can we take a brief recess? I'm sorry, we have 2 minutes to get over here.
Very well. The time is 7:11, 7:12. We'll recess until 7:20. The regular meeting of the Aurora City Council is called back to order. A motion is in order for the adoption of the consent calendar, resolutions and ordinances, item number 11A1 to 1112.
Mayor,
Councilmember Bergen.
motion to approve 11A1 through 11A12.
Councilmember Horton.
Do we need a second on mine?
No. Okay, moved by Councilmember Bergen, seconded by Councilmember Hancock to approve the consent calendar, item number 11A1 to 11A2, 11A4 to 11A12. Should we vote on?
Did I need to correct it? No? It's okay?
No,
Okay.
because any council member can pull it.
Okay.
Discussion?
Mayor, we have individuals who would like to speak on items 11A2 and 12.
Very well.
Yeah, but they're pulling it.
What's that?
No, 11A2.
Okay.
So we have 11A.
The first person is Tanya Tabachek for item 11A2.
But don't they have to do?
Good evening, Mayor and council members. I'm just talking about the layout regarding the water storage that you're going to be instructing, which I don't know when it's going to be starting. But I know that the residences, I have seen some residences already start watering throughout Aurora. So I'm not getting that. And I've seen some golf courses watering. And I know that we're in this major drought, so I'm not sure if you can put out to the residences exactly how the golf courses, they're really strict schedules and how that is going to be put out and how they're going to adhere to it, because they have a lot more green than the houses, the yards do. How they're going to adhere to it, as well as the school, as well as the parks do, because they have a lot more green than we do. And so if you could put that out and how strict that is, and also what the fines would be to residences, that if they don't follow it, that this is what is going to be done. Because it seems like I have seen a couple of residences that are already watering. I've seen golf courses in Aurora that is already watering. So the rules seem to not be being followed, so thank you.
So but at what point you didn't pull it? I remember when you pulled it.
Item 11A12, we have Tanya Tabachek.
Do we vote on this?
No, because these weren't polled. We'll hear this from the speakers and vote on the motion as a consent. And then we'll pull 11A3 and call it separately.
I've got Marshall if you guys want to hear an update on this.
Well, I think I'd like to. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you can.
Okay, let's go ahead and bring staff up. No, that's okay.
Oh, do you want me to leave?
Yeah, this is, no. Wait.
11A12.
Okay, we're gonna, a brief presentation by staff on 11A2, please.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor and Council. Marshall Brown, General Manager of Aurora Water. And I've got Brian and Ian here with me today. I'm going to just go through really quickly the first couple of slides and then get to the questions that were asked. So we are in a water supply crisis. This is the latest U.S. drought monitor for Colorado. And for the first time in a long time, the entire state is in some level of drought. So this is as of today. Warmest start to a water year in the last 131 years, so pretty bad. The governor's office has already implemented or activated a phase 2, and visiting with the state last week, they said the governor is heading to a phase 3 declaration and seeking, that will open up the opportunity to seek federal funding likely this week. So This applies to the entire state. Aurora gets water supplies out of 3 basins. You can see the 3 basins, the lower line in blue. Lowest snowpack we've seen here since 1981. Our snowpack is at about 36% of median, and our storage is at about 57% full. So both of those numbers are really bad. This is a picture of Spinny Mountain Reservoir 2024, which was kind of a typical or normal year. And then you can see on the left there 2026, which is, you can't see much water there. So to the question, or one of the questions on how the water shortage response plan would impact different users, you can see here stage 2, stage 1 drought restrictions are in the second column, bolded in black. Single-family residential is being asked to irrigate only 2 days per week. That's the main thing they're being asked to do. This same restriction does apply to irrigation, commercial, and all accounts. So additionally, irrigation-only accounts, which include golf courses, are having their allocation, their volume of water that they're allowed to use reduced by 20%. On top of the reduction of 20% of their allowable use, their use will be surcharged from gallon 1 as soon as stage 1 restrictions go into place. So single-family residential homes, the question was asked about surcharges, and this table here shows kind of the impact for single-family residential, multifamily residential, and commercial. On the left, you'll see that for stage 1 restrictions, up to 110% of winter quarter average, so essentially indoor use plus a little bit, does not receive a surcharge. So there's no additional cost for that water. The minimum winter quarter average applied to a single-family residential account will be 5,000 gallons per month. So above 5,000 gallons a month of use for single-family residential, or if the winter quarter average is higher than that, the higher amount, will receive a surcharge of $2.15 per 1,000 gallons. For irrigation accounts, which includes golf courses, parks, open space, any account that is irrigation only, regardless of water source, again, allocation or amount of water allowed to be used is reduced by 20%, and we are applying the $2.15 surcharge to every 1,000 gallons of use in those areas, because we do recognize that that's where our opportunities to save the most water are coming from. So with that, I think I answered those questions and illustrated briefly what we're requesting this evening in stage 1 drought restrictions.
Any questions to staff?
Mayor.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Marshall, can you just confirm the date that folks should expect to begin watering under these restrictions?
Yes, thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. This we're asking to be approved this evening with a waiver of reconsideration to be effective immediately. However, how that applies is a little bit interesting because we're partially into the month already. So essentially, any use that shows up on people's May billing will have these changes, or these surcharges would be effective per their May bills. But we need people to implement these changes effective today or tomorrow.
And Mayor, so people can currently water, they don't have to wait until May to begin watering?
Great clarification. We would prefer they wait until May, and we would prefer that if people have started irrigating, that they turn those systems off and wait until May. However, if they choose to irrigate, these reductions of allocations and the surcharges will be applied immediately.
Mayor.
Councilmember Gardner.
Yeah, thanks. Marshall, a few things. One, can you just reiterate the direction to HOAs? I know I asked you about it over email, but I've gotten some feedback that there just continues to be concerns that residents are going to be fined or whatever by their HOA if they don't water or they don't have an emerald green lawn. So can you talk a little bit about what that communication is going to look like?
Yes, thank you, Councilmember Gardner. So under state law, HOAs are not going to be able to fine people for dry landscapes. So we are communicating to HOAs, metro districts, common areas that they're not allowed to do that. We think most of them are aware, but we should expect during this year to see drier, browner landscapes. HOAs need to live with that. Common areas are going to have to live with that. Metro districts are going to have to live with that and not fine residents for following our guidelines or for saving water.
Thank you. Mayor, one follow-up.
Yes, but I'm going to pull, I should have done this initially. I will pull this to where it's not part of the consent. Go ahead.
And so since we're pulling it, because we've got the motion on the floor for the consent calendar, if we can hold this discussion so 11A2 can be called separately after we vote on the consent calendar motion.
Okay.
So we just have how many speakers on 11A12?
One.
So we just had that one speaker, then we can vote on the consent, and then we'll call 1102 and 1103 separately. Sorry, Marshall.
Councilmember Gardner.
Oh, we're going to
Wait.
We're going to go on 11A12, listen to the speaker, vote on the consent motion, and then call 11A2 separately.
Okay.
Just for the record.
Okay, item 11A12, we have Tanya Tabachek.
Couldn't we have done it that way? We couldn't have done it differently.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. I just wanted to say that I know that I was in a policy meeting regarding the city council rules of order and procedure, and I believe that that policy meeting went very well. And the path that it went in the discussion and how the procedures and the different discussions in the future that would go went very well. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So we continue now.
So now the motion on the floor is to vote on the consent calendar motions and resolutions and ordinances 11A1, 11A3 through 11A12.
Nope, Mayor, I mean
11A4 to 11A12, sorry.
Yes.
So 2 and 3 are pulled.
Is there discussion? Further discussion? Seeing none, I call for the question on the motion.
This is for the consent calendar with items 11A2 and 11A3 removed. Councilmember Andrews.
Agreed.
Councilmember Jackson.
Councilmember votes yes.
The motion passes unanimously to adopt the consent calendar for resolutions and ordinances with items 11A2 and 11A3 removed.
All right.
Item 11A2 is Resolution 2026-29, expressing the Aurora City Council's declaration of Stage 1 water shortage conditions effective April 6, 2026.
Are there further questions or comments?
Mayor, can I finish?
Councilmember Gardner.
Thanks. So Marshall, I asked this in study session last time, and I'm glad you and Brian are both here. Can we just make sure, so there's continues to be some confusion, I think, for developers around new grass installations at homes as well as in parks. So can we just make sure that the communication between your two departments and planning and whoever else might be involved is consistent and that we're sending out the same message? Because, and I know we're not going to officially pass this until tonight, but I've already heard from some developers who, they're kind of getting pointed in both directions and not really sure, who to follow or who to ask. So just kind of want to reiterate my desire to make sure we're communicating consistently between all city departments. Thank you.
Mayor?
Oh, wait, is there a response to that? I'm sorry.
Just to respond briefly, we will make sure we coordinate between the departments. We've done a lot of coordinating between pros and water. We'll make sure we loop planning in a little bit more. the Stage 1 restrictions do prohibit the installation of cool season turf. So what we're trying to communicate is if people want to install sod or turf, they can install a warm season turf, which currently the option is a Tahoma 31 Bermuda grass, or they can do another water-wise type landscape, or wait until potentially we come out of drought restrictions. So we will make sure we get that communication out there clearly.
Okay, and just to clarify that cool weather turf is like Kentucky bluegrass, and the warm weather turf, the drought resistant or native grasses.
Correct, Mayor.
Councilmember Bergen.
Thank you, Mayor. Marshall, just again to reiterate what Councilmember Gardner said about the HOAs, because I also get those concerns from constituents that are in metro districts and HOAs. So the HOA cannot deny someone converting to a water-wise landscape or to the different warm grasses, but they can dictate design. Is that correct?
Yeah, thank you, Councilmember Bergen. The HOAs cannot deny the removal of Kentucky bluegrass, fescue, things like that, and the installation or the installation of Colorado-friendly or water-wise landscapes. They can, however, have design standards for their community that have approved plant lists and certain criteria to keep their communities consistent. So most of them, I would say, have coordinated with water conservation to create criteria that's fairly consistent with the city's standards, but the HOAs do have sign-off authority on what goes into their community with those criteria.
Yeah, thank you. I wanted that clarification because it's a bit confusing for residents. Are we also, and you probably have done this in the past, but are we reaching out to the homeowner associations with maybe an email, just if maybe they would like assistance on, plants that are drought resistant as well?
Yeah, thank you. Another great question. So yes, we will be communicating to HOAs, metro districts. We don't have all of the contact information for them, but we'll communicate with those. We do have contact information and open it up to be receptive to anybody else who doesn't hear from us. Please reach out. We are continuing to support our rebate programs this year too. So we will do free designs, help people go through a design process, and then we will provide rebates for conversions of landscapes, smart irrigation controllers, things like that are still in place and encouraged this year.
Thank you.
Mayor, can I ask one more?
Councilmember Gardner.
Can you clarify, Marshall, because something you said prompted another question I got from a metro district that sent out notices last fall instructing residents that they need to plant trees to be in compliance. So can you talk about what that looks like? Does this change those requirements, or I guess I'm hearing maybe not?
Yeah, thank you. Another great question. The stage 1 restrictions do not affect trees or the replanting or irrigation of trees if they're on drip irrigation systems. So some of the trees, or a lot of the trees in the city, are on spray irrigation. They just get the additional water from turf irrigation. So there will be watering restrictions associated with those trees, but they don't restrict the planting. There are approved tree lists, so the specific types of trees that can be planted are, there is a list for those with some criteria, but that hasn't changed during the drought restrictions either.
Okay.
Mayor.
Councilmember Medina.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, Marshall, can you tell them also the structure of the fines for if they're not watering more than twice?
Yes, so thank you for that question. I should have put a slide in there maybe on that. We are planning this year, and it will be very important for us to have more strict enforcement than we've ever had before. So we're planning strict enforcement with the implementation of stage 1 restrictions this year. What that means is the first violation for watering, and I should say we've got a tier associated with the violations. So if people are watering more than 2 days a week, that will result in an immediate violation. If they're watering between 10 a.m. and 6 p.m., that will result in an immediate violation. We have sent out guidelines with watering days. So we've asked certain addresses to water on even days and odd days, things like that. We are encouraging people to do that. It will help our distribution system be able to deliver consistent water quality and manage the distribution system appropriately. However, we're not necessarily planning to issue fines associated with specific days of the week. So in other words, if somebody has an efficient irrigation, a smart controller, it may want to shut off a day they've programmed on a Tuesday if it's raining, and we want that. It may want to reprogram that day later in the week, and as long as they don't exceed 2 days a week, we will not be issuing a violation associated with that. So that was a question that I know came to council in an email. The fines, though, after the first violation, which is a warning, the second violation ramps up to a fine. For single-family residential, I believe that's $250 per violation. For commercial irrigation, the large accounts, it's $500. And then there are an additional Tier 2 fine that essentially doubles, and another Tier 3 fine that essentially doubles again. After the third tier fine, we either have the option to continue fining at that third level or shut people's water off. So that's the fine structure. We're really hoping, and we're doing a lot of proactive communication this year. We're really needing people to help us out and create the savings in our water supply. Otherwise, we are kind of borderline already to heading towards a stage 2 restriction, which would be even more dramatic.
Okay. Marshall, follow-up. You don't want people, I mean, I don't think it's not necessarily a formal restriction, but your preference is that they not start watering turn on their systems until May 1st.
Yes, Mayor, thank you. We want irrigation systems to stay off until May 1st. No. If they're on, would love people to turn them off and let them come back on in May. Kentucky bluegrass is the main thing that people are worried about. And I'll clarify this a little bit. When I say irrigation systems, we're primarily talking about spray irrigation, so lawn irrigation systems. If people want to turn a drip irrigation system on for trees and shrubs, it's not as big of a deal for us. It might be a little bit of a risk for them if we run into a freeze, but we're focused on the spray irrigation. So please shut your spray irrigation systems off. The Kentucky bluegrass will go dormant and it will come back. 2-day-a-week watering starting May 1st is enough for Kentucky bluegrass to survive. It might not be lush and green, but it will survive.
So I received a complaint on Friday from sometime in last week when it was raining, and somebody was driving by a park and saw the sprinkler system on when it was raining. Are they just set for specific times, or are they can they shut off based on rain? But that was his complaint that he sent me.
Yeah, and it very much depends on the irrigation system. We have smart controllers, and there's a couple of different varieties of smart controllers that will be weather-based. So they'll either have local sensors to detect moisture or rain and then shut off, or the more sophisticated ones now tie into satellite networks and the weather information on a local scale, and they can shut off and reprogram themselves based on the satellite information. So, but we have a lot in Aurora, and there was another question in the email of why are we not more sophisticated in our day-of-week recommendations. And one of the reasons is, or the main reason, is that we have a lot of irrigation systems still in Aurora that are older systems that do not have the weather component.
Okay.
So they're just timers that program the irrigation. So people do have to pay a lot more attention to those. We do have rebate programs that for single-family residential will pay for the entire cost of a new smart controller. Not necessarily installation, but it will buy the controller for them in the form of a rebate. And we're encouraging people to very much consider taking advantage of those programs, both single-family and the larger commercial industrial systems that we've got.
Further questions? Councilmember Lawson.
Marshall, just to confirm, and I think the public should know as well, because I asked this in the Water Policy Committee. So the Great Lawn out in front of us on the west side here, that won't be green because if we have to go follow the conditions and what we're going to be fined for a single family, then that lawn shouldn't be green either, correct?
Yeah, great question. And again, and I should probably let Brian answer most of this question because they're doing the good work out there. The Great Lawn will also be under the same watering restrictions. However, you're going to see even more done with the Great Lawn because PROS is planning a conversion this year, which again, we're encouraging people to consider these where the Kentucky bluegrass will be removed and replaced with Tahoma 31 during this drought.
Mayor, I just have another question.
Follow, please.
So Marshall, on the fines, are you going to give a warning first to the single family before you start doing the 250? And then turning off someone's water, if you do that, will they have to pay the whole 250? And what if they don't have that amount of money? Can they be put on some type of payment plan?
Yes and yes. We are doing warnings before we get to any fines. We're planning only one warning. The fines are also appealable. We're not encouraging people to appeal necessarily, but if there are hardships, generally speaking, a hardship shouldn't be because I didn't want to, right? It should be something driving a hardship, but they could appeal the fine. We won't shut the water off for sure through at least 4 violations. So people would have at least 4 violations. And I should also point out that with each violation, there is a cure period. So single-family residential homes will have 7 days to correct the violation, whatever the circumstance was. The commercial, industrial, irrigation accounts will have 3 days to correct the problem. And so they have that cure period before they would be faced with a second violation.
Okay, good. Okay, motion is in order.
Mayor, motion to approve 11A2.
Moved by Councilmember Gardner, seconded by?
Bergen.
Seconded by Councilmember Bergen to approve 11A2. Further discussion?
Mayor.
Councilmember Gardner.
Thank you. So Marshall alluded to this, but I just wanted to point it out because we talked about it at the Parks Committee last week. Brian and his team are taking a lot of steps to, basically convert turf for the future as well. I think we all need to recognize we live in an increasingly arid climate, and while this year might be worse than normal, that's where we're headed, and it's going to continue that way. So I want to applaud Brian and the PROS department for all the work they're doing to convert turf and medians and things like that. And I know medians especially, I know can be tough for some folks. They like beautiful medians for some reason. And so they might not look like they always have in the past, but that's a good thing, and it's the reality of the climate that we live in.
Further discussion? Seeing none, call for the question on the adoption of item number 11A2.
Councilmember Andrews.
Approve.
Councilmember Jackson.
Oh, did we vote on the adoption?
Approve.
A2 and A3.
The motion passes unanimously to adopt item 11A2.
Will the clerk now please read the title to item number 11A3?
Item 11A3 is Resolution 2026-30, expressing the Aurora City Council's approval of the Memorandum of Understanding between the Aurora Police Department and the Aurora Ice Processing Center.
Brief presentation by staff.
And Mayor, we do have 3 individuals who would like to speak on this item.
Okay, we do that first.
Either way, you do a presentation and then.
Let me do it. Let's do a presentation first.
Okay.
Good evening, Council. Basically, what we have here is a memorandum of understanding between the Aurora Police Department and the Aurora Ice Processing Center. Essentially, what this document does is it clearly defines what our roles are and the roles of the Aurora Ice Processing Center when there is a call for service at that facility. So it establishes guardrails and guidance to both the Aurora Police Department and the ICE Processing Center, which you may know is referred to a lot as the GEO facility, which is a federal detention center. So there are many instances where the Aurora Police Department may be called to this facility. One of those instances is the Federal Prison Rape Elimination Act, which is governed by state statute. The Aurora Police Department must respond and follow certain guidelines to when there is a report of a rape within the facility. That's one instance of a call for service that there's state guidance on, and we put that in the memorandum so it clearly explains what our roles and responsibility if there is a report of a rape. There's other instances to include escapes from that facility, bomb threats, civil disturbances, those types of calls for service, and what we will and won't do in those instances. So it provides that guidance to our officers out on the street. Without this document, there would be ambiguity, and it then becomes difficult to bifurcate what we're going to do in a criminal response or immigration enforcement, and that's very important that those two are bifurcated. The Aurora Police Department does not enforce immigration, so that's why it's important to have this document, which explicitly states that, but does state, like any other facility within the city limits, that if there is a call for service, what our response will be and what are our obligations under the law. And like I said, with the Rape Elimination Act, there is state law guiding what that response will look like.
Okay. I know we've had presentations on this, and I think in Public Safety Committee and in study session, but are there any additional questions of staff from the City Council, members of Council?
Yeah, Mayor. Hello. Sorry, I can't see off the computer. Can you provide clarity to the public around the PERA, the Prison Elimination Rape Act, and what would constitute, who would constitute an investigation or victim? Does that include staff? Does that not?
Well, any crime that occurs within that facility, if this is specifically, I think, for the prisoners of that facility, but if a staff member reports a rape, we are going to, investigate that and coordinate that with federal authorities as well. But there are specific guidelines laid out within here, and I'll go to that part. It mandates that the Colorado Department of Corrections implements policies in compliance with PREA, which is the Prison Rape Elimination Act. These law ensures that Colorado's correctional facilities comply with standards established by the federal PREA legislation. And it goes on to describe how we will assist, and APD as the agency responding to such requests understands that the allegation of a criminal nature and shall have complete control over conducting that investigation. And then it talks about how we'll coordinate with the staff there when those occurrences happen.
Mayor, follow up.
Yes, please.
More specifically, if a staff member was accused of sexual assault or rape of someone who is detained, who has jurisdiction in that scenario?
Well, we would respond and investigate it because it happened within the state of Colorado. Now, if it's a federal law enforcement officer and there's federal jurisdiction over that, obviously they may take that investigation and charge them federally, which we cannot. But we will investigate that on a state level, and we will be the lead investigative agency on that.
City Attorney, can you respond, please?
Yeah, so Councilmember Horton and Chief Hildebrand, what I'll say is obviously for the federal government to have jurisdiction, there has to be an essence of interstate commerce, right? There just are certain crimes out there that don't have, when the crime is happening, they don't have interstate commerce, like sexual assault, for example, is happening in one place. Now, if they take them over state lines, then it becomes a kidnapping, which federal law does have a statute. So it's these certain instances, and again, it's kind of dictating what APD will do when they get to the GEO facility, but we can only get so much access that they allow. But this MOU is designed to show the GEO facility at the time that their higher-ups, their leadership said, no, in these circumstances, APD is going to have access to get into the facility, and if they don't, it's a breach. And so I don't know if we've had that happen yet. I don't think we've had a situation exactly like that, but that is because of that law, because there is no sexual assault. That's part of the federal system because of the interstate commerce issue. That's one of the reasons why it's with the state and federal agencies is what we're dealing with.
Question.
Please.
Okay, follow up. So if in this hypothetical situation, there is a breach and the staff and GEO does not comply, what authority does the city of Aurora have in arresting or serving a warrant or investigation simply?
So what our advice would be to the police department is, and I'm sure Mandy, who's the police legal advisor, would tell them that we're going to do whatever we can. Now, that means getting a search warrant, getting an arrest warrant, doing what we need to do. But one of the things that we'll try to do is try to identify who the alleged victim is and try to reach out to him or her outside of the GEO facility if they get released or so forth. And that's one of those things. GEO's agreeing, right, Mark, that GEO's agreeing through this MOU that they're going to cooperate. If they fail to do so, we'll take steps, and an APD can use their, the context with the media and with their folks on the DOJ to let them know, hey, we've got a report of an actual sexual assault that took place, and we're not getting access to the information that we need to do the investigation. And then it kind of throws it to the feds. And
that's why we don't have issues, because we have this MOU in place, and it is an agreement, whereas if we didn't have this, there would be ambiguity. They would be open to deny some things or whatever, but because we have this MOU, it's clearly stated, and we've had, I don't know of any non-compliant. There's been versions of this MOU for the last 25 years. The last version that this one will supersede, there's a lot of ambiguity in that one. That's why this one was drafted, to give more clear guardrails and guidance and ensure things like that don't happen.
Mayor?
Councilmember Horton.
Okay, now, next part of this MOU around escapees. A couple years ago, I believe 2 or 3, was it 2?
Yeah.
Individuals left the facility. There was a delayed response from the GEO communicating with APD. Has there been other incidents like that have occurred since the GEO has been in Aurora?
I'm not aware of those. I'm sure there could be other escape situations that have occurred at that facility. I'm just not aware of those personally.
Yeah. And Councilmember Horton, Jason and I talked about that earlier today. In his 18 years of the city, we've never been called on because they've had an escape. They got out and they grabbed him right away and brought him in. It could have happened, but the one that happened a year or two ago that prompted the updating of MOU was the first one publicly that Jason and I have seen.
Okay. Mayor, sorry. Quick comment? Okay. For me, bringing this up and asking these questions, Chief, is very important. One, I know it went through public safety. I know it was at study session. Those are not always the most accessible places for the public to comment and to know what is happening. I'm pretty sure Aurora Police Department is probably the only government agency that has had this level of access and cooperation from the GEO, and that is just pure observation considering the fact that there was reported health crisis in the facility, and not even the Adams County Public Health Department could get the information or even access into the building that they needed to confirm or deny the allegations. And I know that's separate. I also am just very cognizant of what this GEO detention center is doing to a lot of our immigrant communities. And it is very vital that we treat this with the utmost scrutiny and have as much public input into what this looks like.
Further questions or comments of staff? Questions of staff, I'm sorry. Seeing none.
Public comment.
Okay, then we have,
Okay, the first person is Jeffrey McFarland, followed by Zachary Cotton.
Good Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm back again, in case you were bored of it. My name is Jeffrey McFarland. I live in Ward 1. I live on Tallis Street, just down the street from the people that Danielle Jurinsky called a bunch of terrorists. Let us be clear, if we can. The fact that everybody keeps talking about the ambiguity of already existing and currently written MOUs between a federal and a state force is just like, that's fucking great. That inspires confidence. This MOU is not a neutral cooperation agreement. It's a 10-year partnership between the local police department and a federal agency tearing families apart and executing civilians in the streets. A signature on this document is a signature on further collaboration with ICE as opposed to me, clearing up some obscurities. It doesn't make the rest of this resolution acceptable that they happen to put in prohibiting civil immigration detainers in the memorandum of understanding. This is fucking crazy. This MOU commits taxpayer-funded APD resources to canine units, drones, perimeter teams, all to hunt down generally non-violent fugitives fleeing civil immigration detention. Hands APD investigative authority inside an ICE facility that already lacks any meaningful public oversight whatsoever. So you're going to call the feds, Pete, when the feds don't let you into the building? And also, like, it's going to help the 20,000 to 40,000 backlogged rape kits in the state of Colorado. Is it going to help out with those? This is a deal cut by officials for officials, no accountability to the common, like the communities who actually live under this shit. There were study sessions in, specific neighborhoods, but this wasn't shaped by the people who were suffering from the consequences of it. Families of the detained, local faith leaders, community organizers, none of these people came to the table. Time and time again, this community tells you that they don't want an ICE concentration camp in their facility. And now you expect a 10-year agreement between our police force and that concentration camp to just be cool. I think it's a very betrayal against Aurora's immigrant communities. I think it's a waste of our public resources, and I think it's an attack on the very notion of community control of the police, which we are fighting here for in the Denver Aurora Community Action Committee. I really don't understand what's so hard to understand about why the people who are most affected by policing are the ones who should have the most say in it. So don't worry, if you got raped in that federal prison, if you get out, we'll ask you about it. That inspires fucking confidence. Don't worry. If there's bad stuff going on in there, we'll come in and find out. Even though Jason Crow wasn't allowed in there, I'm sure they'll let the police in. If they are so willing to let the police in there, that makes me wonder who's working with whom. I say vote no on this resolution. Do whatever the fuck you're gonna do. Kiss my ass. Thank you.
Zachary Cotton, followed by Joel Benjamin.
Hi, everybody. My name is Zachary Cotton. I'm also with the Denver Aurora Community Action Committee. I do want to say good evening to you all, to the mayor and council members. The Aurora Police Department, they just need to stop working with GEO, DHS, and ICE immediately. We don't need the original memorandum of understanding, nor do we need an updated one. The detainees that escaped GEO last year were not a security risk to the Aurora community. I know how terrible it is in that building, and I cannot blame anyone for taking the risk to leave. JB has brought up that report. It's awful. I hope at least some of you read it. Councilmember Horton, I hope that you do read it. You feel like you're on our side. I do want to say that this MOU is just a sloppy backroom deal to provide cover for GEO and ICE's failures and to allow a private contractor to funnel more time, energy, and money away from our community and into their own pockets. This MOU is already written and designed without the input of the community at large, but I hope that you all listen to us tonight when we tell you that we want you to leave our immigrant community alone. People will lose trust in you as a city council. I already have here tonight for most of you. People lose trust in you if you sanction APD to hassle people of color under the suspicion of an immigration offense. We do not need drones in the skies or flock cameras in all of our street corners or random traffic stops. They do not keep us safe, and it will just make people scared of the police and their community. And I hope that you, the council members, especially you, Councilmember Horton, take this to heart in particular. I've seen you out at the vigil at the GEO Center. And I hope that you are actually listening to the stories of the people impacted by GEO in your ward and not just hoping to improve your chances for re-election in 2029. Some of us might forget this portrayal tonight, but I will be right there with everybody else in this room to remind them this. Again, I have a minute, so I'm just gonna ramble. Let's see. I've been reading some articles. I've seen Chamberlain in particular seems to really want this MOU just to save face because of those 2 detainees that escaped. It seems like that was an embarrassment to him, and that's the only reason he wants this MOU. It seems like it's embarrassment to you back there as well. Just he was stuttering more than me, and this is my first time up here, honestly. I guess I hope to see more of you out at the Geo Vigil. I hope that you all read that report. You mentioned the rapes in there. You mentioned the food loss. You mentioned all of this medical neglect, but you're not actually doing anything. All of you're doing is giving APD more surveillance tools. That's it. That's all I have to say. Thank you. Good night.
Joel Benjamin.
Before I begin, I'm the reports guy, I'm the homework guy, as you see. Questions that should be asked to the gentleman behind me include if he's ever been in this facility. I know one of you has, no need to name names, at least one, let's be fair. The reports that I mentioned earlier that are on the podium with me represent the truth that happens in that facility. We've had members of Congress be denied entry despite federal law enforcing their right to enter without warning. We need to discuss the nature of collaboration between municipal police with the executive branch's illegal camps. I spoke earlier tonight about those conditions. Geo Group is publicly traded. What you may not know is they make $190 per night per prisoner. They keep most of that money rather than serving adequate food, providing health care that would meet the most crude of standards. The facility is not kept at a livable temperature. By the way, these reports, coloradowithoutcages.org. We have knowledge of recent cases where the Geo facility has held prisoners who were harmed sufficient to require hospitalization. APD was contacted at that time by the hospital, not employees of the Geo facility. I guess there's not really a record to enter things into, but you have computers. A Denver Post article dated March 27th of this year, 10 days ago. Headline, Adams County admonishes ICE detention center over poor access and communication during public health investigation. In part, on January 2nd, the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment passed an anonymous complaint to the Adams County Health Department's Communicable Disease Epidemiology Program, alleging widespread gastrointestinal and respiratory illness inside the detention center. Days later, the health department received a second complaint from, quote, multiple anonymous sources. Despite repeated attempts to coordinate follow-up interviews with Geo Group's legal counsel, Adams County's health department was not given access to those representatives to complete standard investigation. Aurora, no longer quoting, Aurora is well too accustomed to the harms caused by our police department. There are people in this chamber who have lost loved ones and many more who do not sleep easily at night as a result of our police. If there is to be collaboration between APD and the rogue clowns that comprise DHS's law enforcement, perhaps we the people deserve for the conditions inside these facilities and the behaviors of the federal officers to be investigated for their crimes against our community. The federal government may not cause such a disruption to the rest of us with no oversight and then demand that our municipal resources and tax dollars be used to clean up their messes.
That was the last individual.
Mayor, I think now is where I could put a motion to continue, 11A3.
So she's made a motion to continue.
Councilman Horton made a motion to continue to when?
11A3. Oh, till when?
You want 420 or the one in the first meeting in May?
Let's do 420.
Okay,
No.
for 2 weeks.
To continue to the next regular meeting of the Aurora City Council. Is there a second?
Mayor.
It's been seconded by Mayor Pro Tem. Discussion?
Mayor,
Councilmember Morgan.
What would happen between now and then that would be different? And what would happen if the MOU is not passed? Because we have an existing MOU, correct? So it would be the one that is less clear that would stand.
Correct.
Oh, it's already on.
Okay.
Further discussion?
So, Mayor?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Councilmember
If
Morgan.
could answer.
Yeah, if you could,
Yeah,
please.
got you. Public engagement, not a lot of folks knew about this that I've asked, who specifically work with families who are either in the detention center or work on immigration issues, even more from a reform lens. So there's a lot of opportunity here to reactively engage the public to understand the true impact of what this MOU would do, as well as determine where there may be some excessive agreements in this that could be refined.
Mayor?
Councilmember Morgan.
So it went to policy committee and then it went to study session. So that did not give adequate public engagement to
Correct.
to listen to those meetings and get the full impact of what the MOU actually says.
Correct.
And then so I don't even know if maybe our attorney could answer what substantive changes could even be made in this MOU, because it's really basically stating what our responsibilities are in case we're called. For example, is escaping a crime, a facility?
Answer to 2 points of your question. The last half, yes, escaping a facility like the GEO facility is a criminal offense under the U.S. Code. Secondly, because this is an MOU, it does require whatever changes that the city council makes for it to be in effect, the GEO facility will have to agree to those as well. So if we do delay this 2 weeks and we bring another version forward and we change it, we'll have to get GEO to see whether or not they'll accept it. And I mean, right now we have a document that's been agreed by GEO and now is being presented to City Council to see if you all agree with it. And that's where we are in the process. So we could there could be more tweaking. You guys could also do things via policy that you can do at a later time, because I think there is, in the way the MOU is drafted, for example, if somebody does escape from that facility that is only being held on civil detainment, right? There's no criminal offense that they're in. I know some people will say by leaving they're committed to a criminal offense, but why were they there? You all could, as a policy, as a council, could say, we want to make that the lowest priority for the commander from APD about what resources we provide to the GEO facility if that happens. And that doesn't necessarily have to be in the MOU. That could be something separate, because the MOU as it's written right now gives discretion to APD, the chiefs and the commander, that the watch commander that's out that night, to do the assessment of the risk and say, look, this is not one of those that we're going to put a whole bunch of officers over there. We'll go out and take a report, but we're not going to be out there for 6 hours looking for somebody that may be only on civil detainment. Now, if it's a violent felony person, that's different, but that's why the MOU is crafted the way it is. So you could accomplish those policy things separately via a resolution if we wanted to get the MOU in place tonight. That's the
Mayor?
quick answer.
Councilmember Berg.
So we would be condoning someone escaping by not enforcing any law. I mean, it is a criminal law to escape a facility, is it not? Is it a crime?
I will tell you that under these facilities, I've seen the Department of Justice, yes, for the federal agents or for the officers that are working these, they treat it as a criminal offense, but the DOJ gets it. They look at the same thing that we would be looking at, is what is this person's criminal history, what they were in custody for, and that sort of thing. So I'm not saying they shouldn't enforce it, but it's not one of those that the DOJ would say, you're being held because you're wanted for murder, and then you flee this facility. They would be held accountable under that. And I think that's what the MOU is trying to define, right, Mark? That it says
Correct.
these are
It establishes what the threat level is of that individual and what our response is going to be based on those factors that you just mentioned. If we believe this person committed an assault during it, whether or not what the original charges were that person was in there for. I mean, my role in this isn't to either impeach or defend the constitutionality of the federal law regarding escape. It exists. It's what we can do is tailor our response in how that law is enforced in coordination with the federal agencies that have jurisdiction over that federal escape.
Okay.
Mayor?
Mayor Pro Tem.
Yeah, I support the motion to continue because I think that it's important for us to understand what the other policy options are, rather than saying, we're going to pass this now and then we'll find out later what the other policy options are, but rather identify what those are before we pass a 10-year MOU and a 10-year policy. I think we want to understand what it is that we can do to be protective of community, both folks that are in the facility and folks who are impacted.
Further discussion?
Mayor, can I just ask the city attorney just a
Councilmember Lawson.
procedural question? So if we do the continuance and then there's input and it comes back to the council, it still has to go to the Geo Center?
Correct, and usually.
For approval?
Yes, ma'am. So.
Okay.
They have, it's a contract, so.
Okay, understand that.
Right, so.
I got that, but let me just, I got that part. So if the Geo Center says no, does the original, is that the one that stays as is?
The one that's in place today.
No, that's the one I'm talking about.
Yeah, it would stay in effect unless you all decide that as council to revoke it, which there's parameters, even the 10-year one, there are parameters in it to revoke it early if things aren't working by either party. They just put a timeline in it that is usually what those are, is just to say, hey, look, we're going to mandate that you look at this again in a decade. And so that's, again, this is, what we look at the MOUs is this is the minimum expectations of both parties. You all can vote, GEO could direct, they could be having these conversations with their board, right? And telling us, well, APD could have the ability to come and do this, but we're not going to do X. We don't know that because what they're showing us is like contract negotiations. This is what we've got. So, yeah, I think if we do material changes, because Mark, how long did it take you guys to negotiate this?
Probably several months of back and forth with language to ensure that it gave clarity. I mean, there are new sections in this definitions, so those things are, certain things are clearly defined where they weren't in the previous one. So, yeah, it took several months of back and forth.
Yeah. Further discussion on the motion to the next regular meeting, Councilmember Gardner.
So I'm curious because apparently going to policy committee, study session, and a regular meeting wasn't enough, even though every other item that we voted on tonight, that was enough. So I guess I'm curious why we're not going to start the process completely over, because if this is going to come back in 2 weeks, I don't know who's going to know what's in it until that night. And so I guess I'm not following how the same process that was used for every other item we voted on tonight is now all of a sudden not sufficient for this item. And so I don't know how we're going to know the changes that are going to be proposed before that night and how the public and all the others are going to know.
Further discussion? Seeing none, call for the question on the motion to continue to the next regular meeting.
Mayor Kaufman.
Mayor votes yes.
Councilmember Andrews.
I agree.
Councilmember Jackson.
I approve.
The motion passes with 10 yes votes, 1 no vote from Councilmember Hancock to continue this item to the next regular council meeting.
11, 8, 12.
No, we're done.
Okay.
So we're on to 12A.
Clerk, now please read the title to item number 12A.
Item 12A is public hearing for public invited to be heard on the 2027 budget.
I don't work in community, huh? That's for sure.
Oh, public hearing, okay. Public hearing is now open. Presentation by staff.
Yes, my name is Greg Hayes, Budget Officer for the city. Twice a year, City Council holds public hearings so that the public may speak to the council concerning the upcoming budget. This year is the first of the two. This will happen in April and then once again in the August-September timeframe. And this concerns the 2027 budget. And with that, I'm done, and I'll just take notes.
Does anyone wish to speak on this?
Yes,
issue?
Tanya Tabachek, followed by Maya Willer.
evening, Mayor and council members. I just wanted to reiterate my my suggestion and my support for the animal shelter. Just making sure that the funds are in support for the animal shelter for 2027, 2026, and the funds go towards that. Thank you.
Maya Willer.
Please proceed.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Maya Wheeler, and I'm a resident of Ward 5. I want to thank you for conducting outreach the city did to get input on infrastructures, parks and recreations, libraries, and public safety. It's clear that residents care deeply about those investments. As you think about the 2027 budget, I also encourage the city to consider priorities like housing, workforce, and long-term water resources and how they connect, in addition to those already identified. For example, I'm hearing from people who are working in Aurora but can't afford to live nearby, which means longer commutes and more strain on families. I'm also hearing from small businesses that they are struggling to find and keep employees because workers can't live close to where they work. At the same time, Aurora is growing quickly. Growth brings opportunity, but it also requires planning. Roads, transportation, and long-term water resources need to keep pace with the growth, so we're not creating challenges that become harder and more expensive to fix later. I also want to highlight the importance of investing in economic opportunity, especially for small businesses doing business here in all wards and young people. Workforce isn't just about jobs. It's about whether people can actually access those jobs. That includes housing, transportation, and pathways to opportunity. We heard the Carpenters Union here tonight talking about making sure people are identified correctly as W-2s versus 1099. And so these are all key to supporting economic development in our community. I'm encouraged to see collaboration between Aurora, Adams County, and Arapahoe County, and I believe continued coordination will be important as we plan for the future. We have an opportunity right now to plan ahead and make sure growth in our community is thoughtful, sustainable, and works for both residents and businesses. Thank you for your time.
That was the last individual.
Nice. Questions of staff? Seeing none. Public hearing is now closed and a motion is in order. Oh, I'm sorry. There is no motion. Will the clerk now please read the title to item number 12B?
Item 12B is public hearing consideration of ordinance 2026-07, approving an amended and restated service plan for Eagles Nest Metro District.
Public hearing is now open. Presentation by staff.
Good evening, City Council and Mayor. My name is Michael Kerrigan, the Special District Administrator with the Office of Development Assistance. I am before you tonight to give the staff report and present a request for an ordinance to approve a service plan amendment for the Eagles Nest Metropolitan District. The amendment's purpose will be allow the district to extinguish its ARI mill levy obligation faster, be consistent with the ARI mill levy IGA considered this evening, and to allow the district a path to dissolve in the near future. The original service plan for the district was approved by council in 2007, and the district serves the commercial development located generally at the southeast intersection of South Aurora Parkway and East Smoky Hill Road. The district has completed all the construction on the public infrastructure within its borders, and it has paid off all of its outstanding district debt. While the district does not own or maintain any public infrastructure, the district is required to remain in existence for the purpose of imposing the remaining ARI mill levy obligation. The district has the standard model service plan language for a commercial project. The district has 8 years and a total of 103.117 mils remaining of its ARI mill levy obligation. The required annual ARI mill levy obligation varies between 1.039 and 20 mils. The requested service plan amendment will allow the district to impose an additional ARI mill levy above those annual required amounts in order to satisfy that ARI mill levy obligation faster than the remaining 8 years in the service plan. City staff has not received any comments from the public about this item, and we do have a district representative here tonight to answer any questions if needed. Thank you.
Is there a district representative who wishes to speak, the applicant? Okay, questions, is there anybody who wishes to speak?
No.
Questions of staff?
Mayor.
Councilmember Bergen.
Thank you. So my understanding, as you stated, is they would like to shorten the period of their obligation. So they have some obligation in Tier 1 and some in most of it in Tier 3. So they're just basically advancing it so that they could pay it off earlier, correct? Okay, and then once they pay it off, then they can then dissolve the district?
Yes. Yeah.
And they don't have any operating mill levies then?
They have no operating mill levies.
Okay.
Actually, sorry, district rep has come down.
Thank you.
I was not prepared for that question.
Are you representing the applicant or the district?
I do.
Very well.
Clint Waldron with WEAPC. We represent Eagles Nest Metropolitan District as General Counsel. So the district does have a small operating levy, and that levy only exists to pay for administrative costs. It has no operations and maintenance responsibilities. It's paid its debt. So the concern was if we pay this over the maturity of 8 years, all that does increase the operating costs for the community members and for the commercial users out there. If we can shorten it, we can pay that off early, and we save 4 to 5 years of administrative costs, about $25,000 a year.
And then as far as, so you would not have an operating mill levy, though, left as well?
Correct.
I mean, this is the ARI, but...
Correct. So we would impose a small operations levy, the ARI mill levy, and then after that 4 years, we would come back to the city and then request to be dissolved, and there would be no more mill levy associated with that property at all.
Okay, so for maintenance, that's done through...
There's a private owners association that maintains all the improvements on that site.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Further questions of the staff or the applicant? Seeing none, and there was nobody who wishes to speak on this, correct? No. Very well. Public hearing is now closed. Motion is in order.
Mayor.
Councilmember Bergen.
Motion to approve 12B.
Moved by Councilmember Bergen, seconded by...
Mayor, second.
Seconded by Councilmember Lawson to approve item number 12B. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, call for the question on the adoption of item number 12B.
Councilmember Andrews. Mayor Pro Tem. The motion passes unanimously to adopt item 12B.
Clerk, now please read the title to item number 12C.
Item 12C is public hearing consideration of ordinance 2026-08, approving the consolidated second amended and restated service plan for Green Valley Ranch East Metro District numbers 6 through 14 and First Amendment thereto as it applies to Green Valley Ranch East Metro Districts numbers 10 through 14.
A brief presentation by staff.
Good evening, Council. Michael Kerrigan again, Special District Administrator with the Development Services Department. So that I'm not repeating myself 5 times tonight, I'll give one overview for the service plan amendments in items 12C through 12G, and then I will describe the amendments for each of those individual districts during the staff report for the respective public hearings. The 5 service plan amendments before you today are for metro districts that are joining the newly creating Fletcher Regional Improvement Authority, or FRIA. FRIA has a requirement that its member districts amend their respective service plans as it relates to the Aurora Regional Improvements, or ARI, mill levy. FRIA also requires its member districts to authorize the district's ability to transfer the ARI mill levy revenue to FRIA. FRIA is planning to issue bonds that will use the ARI revenue as a source of repayment. A number of the Metro District service plans currently have the model service plan definition and restrictions for ARI mill levy. For a residential property, those are Tier 1. The ARI mill levy begins in the year that a district first levies a debt mill, and the ARI mill levy is equal to 1 mill. Tier 1 continues for 20 years. Tier 2, the ARI mill levy is equal to 5 mills, and it continues from the 21st year through the 40th year, or when the district's debt is repaid, whichever occurs first. And then the third and final tier of ARI mill levy is equal to the average debt service mill levy for the 10 years prior to the district's debt repayment, and Tier 3 continues for the last 10 years. This unknown nature of the third tier of ARI mill levy becomes a disadvantage when trying to bond against the revenue stream, and it makes it impractical to perform revenue projections. As written, this third tier of ARI mill levies will not be known until 40 or 50 years into the future, and this uncertainty makes for a less efficient financing. This same unknown nature of the third tier of ARI...
From the thing up.
Was that?
It's Rob. Councilmember Andrews.
Councilmember Andrews? Okay, please proceed.
This same unknown nature for the third tier of ARI levies happens for a commercial project as well. The Metro Districts are proposing to amend their service plan language to change the definition of the ARI mill levy to remove the ambiguity of the third tier by setting a fixed ARI mill levy today. So item 12C, it's a service plan amendment for the Green Valley Ranch East or GVRE Metro District numbers 6 through 14. The GVRE Metro Districts are located in Adams County, bounded generally between East 56th Avenue and East 38th Avenue on the north and south respectively, and between Piccadilly Road and E470 on the east and west respectively. GVRE Metro Districts 6 through 14 are on a consolidated service plan, which makes this a bit more complicated for the various changes that are being requested. GVRE Metro Districts 6 through 9 are partially developed and include residential homeowners, and these districts have already joined an authority and are currently pledging their ARI mill levies to the Aerotropolis Regional Transportation Authority, or ARTA. GVRE Metro Districts 10 through 14 are currently undeveloped and are anticipated to include mixed-use residential and commercial properties. Additionally, GVRE Metro Districts 10 through 14 are not currently a member of an ARI authority. The existing service plan for all of the GVRE Metro Districts 6 through 14 contains specific ARI language that only allows for the district's participation in ARTA. The current service plan already provides for a fixed 5 mil maximum of ARI mill levies. The service plan amendments being proposed are only applicable to GVRE Districts 10 through 14, as GVRE Metro Districts 6 through 9 wish to remain a part of ARTA. GVRE Metro Districts 10, 11, and 14 are joining FRIA, which requires amending their respective service plans. GVRE Metro Districts 10, 12, and 13 are not currently joining FRIA, nor are they currently joining ARTA, but they wish to have the flexibility on which authority, if any, to join in the future. Thus, they are included in the request to amend their service plans. Generally, the service plan amendments will give more optionality for the GVRE Metro District numbers 10 through 14 to join an authority other than ARTA. The specific service plan amendments include restating the ARI mill levy for GVRE Metro Districts 10 through 14 to be the flat 5 mills, but removing the ARTA specific language. The amendment clarifies the definition of the ARI master plan to allow for the GVRE Metro Districts 10 through 14 to pledge their ARI mill levy revenue to an authority that is not ARTA. The amendment clarifies the definition of a regional intergovernmental improvements agreement to allow GVRE Metro Districts 10 through 14 to join an authority other than ARTA. And finally, the service plan amendment incorporates the option for GVRE Metro Districts 10 through 14 to execute an IGA with the city to direct how those ARI mill levy revenues shall be used. That's a concept from the model service plan. We do have a district representative here tonight to answer questions as well, but no separate presentation from them.
Very well, okay. So we're on 12B, right?
12C.
12C.
C.
12C.
So any questions of staff?
Question.
We'll close the public hearing.
Questions of staff
Mayor.
on 12C? Councilmember Bergen.
Thank you for that very good presentation, because it's very complicated. So the gist of it is that they are currently in ARTA with the ARI pledging funds to ARDA, but because some of their development is not yet developed, this gives them the flexibility on those 10 through 14 to be part of FRIA, correct?
Partially.
Partially?
Yeah, 6 through 9 are part of ARDA, 10 through 14 are not part of ARDA, and then this will allow 10 through 14, sorry, to join a FRIA to join FRIA or an authority that's not ARDA.
Okay, very good. And in the end, all this means is that they are still pledging towards the ARI for regional transportation improvements.
Correct.
Thank you.
Further questions of staff? I'm sorry, is there a presentation by the applicant?
No, there's not.
Okay. Does anybody wish to speak on item number 12C?
No.
Further questions of staff or the applicant? Seeing none, the hearing is closed, public hearing is closed. Motion is in order. It's been moved by Councilmember Gardner, seconded by?
Bergen.
Second by Councilmember Bergen to approve item number 12C. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, call for the question on item number 12C.
Councilmember Andrews?
Agreed.
Mayor Pro Tem, thank you. The motion passes unanimously to adopt item 12C.
Clerk, now please read the title to item number 12D.
Item 12D is public hearing consideration of ordinance 2026-09, approving the second amended and restated consolidated service plan for Painted Prairie Metro District numbers 1 through 9.
Public hearing is now open. Brief presentation by staff.
Good evening, council members. Michael Kerrigan with the Development Services Department again. So this item is a service plan amendment for the Painted Prairie Metropolitan District numbers 1 through 9. Painted Prairie Metropolitan District numbers 1 through 9 are located in Adams County, bounded between Himalaya Avenue and Piccadilly Road on the west and east, and 56th Avenue and 64th Avenue on the north and south. Painted Prairie Metro Districts number 1 through 9 are on a consolidated service plan. The districts are partially developed and include residential homeowners within districts numbers 1 through 6. Portions of districts 1 and 7 are anticipated to be mixed-use commercial development. Generally, portions of districts 7 through 9 are undeveloped. The Painted Prairie districts currently have the tiered model service plan ARI mill levy language that increases over time. As required by joining FRIA, the service plans must be amended, and those changes include replacing the tiered increased model service plan ARI mill levy language with a flat 5 mills, adding the definition of a term called the ARI mill levy agreement, which is a future agreement between the district and FRIA regarding the transfer of ARI mill levy revenue. And finally, the amended service plan will add a requirement for an agreed-upon procedures engagement, which is a report that a CPA provides once the district's board of directors transfers to future property owners. City staff has received 3 objections from the public regarding Painted Prairie Metro Districts 1 through 9 service plan amendment, and we understand that the clerk has included those within your council packet. And we do have a district representative here tonight to answer questions, but no separate presentation from the applicant or the district. Thank you.
Presentation by the applicant?
No.
Does anybody wish to speak on this issue?
No.
Mayor.
I'm sorry. Questions of staff?
Mayor.
Councilmember Bergen.
Just to clarify, joining a specific regional transportation authority like FRIA, SORIA, ARDA, does not mean that they would be, if they didn't join, they still would have to pay the city the same mill levies through ARI or similar mill levies.
So they wouldn't necessarily have to pay the city. So the service plans give the districts 3 options on how to use those ARI mills. So they can either join an authority, they can give it to the city. And
Right, that's what I said, give it to the city, right.
Or they can sign an IGA with the city that would determine how those mills are used. But as long as the district has issued district debt, that's the trigger that starts the ARI mills. So if that has happened, then the districts would have to impose those ARI mills.
And then by forming that specific authority, it allows the money to stay within that region.
Yes, and it would be used on whatever the authority determines which projects to spend.
Okay.
And typically, it's within the general region.
Thank you.
Councilmember Wiles.
Just for clarification, because I've gotten a lot of residents who are really concerned about this, they don't agree with it, and I think part of it is that they don't understand. The main question has been, agreeing to this does not negate any of the responsibilities the developer already has to provide certain things, right? Like, for example, if they were supposed to contribute to a traffic light, agreeing to join this doesn't change the responsibility that already lied with the developer previously.
Yeah, so generally, the developers have a document called a public improvement plan, and then the developers would be bound by that public improvement plan, which has a number of those infrastructure elements. And maybe Laura can add additional context.
This does not override the developer obligations. This is an additional financial mechanism used to pay for regional transportation system infrastructure.
Thank you.
Further questions of staff or the applicant? Seeing none, the public hearing is now closed and the motion is in order.
Mayor?
Moved by Councilmember Gardner, second by
Bergen.
Councilmember Bergen to approve item number 12D. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, call for the question on the adoption of item number 12D.
Councilmember Andrews.
I have my hand up, so point of order, Mayor.
Councilmember Andrews.
Yeah, I have one question. This would be an additional tax to the folks that are in the Painted Prairie area?
So the folks that pay into the Metro District taxes, they would already be paying this. It's just the time limit may change on when they would be paying the ARI mills.
Okay. Thank you.
Further discussion? Seeing none, call for the question on the adoption of item number, did we do 12D? 12D.
Councilmember Andrews.
Approved.
The motion passes unanimously to adopt item 12D.
Will clerk now please read the title of item number 12E?
Item 12E is public hearing consideration of ordinance 2026-10, approving the amended and restated consolidated service plan for Painted Prairie Metro District numbers 10 through 12.
Public hearing is now open. A presentation by staff.
Good evening. Michael Kerrigan again with Development Services Department. This item is a service plan amendment for the Painted Prairie Metro District numbers 10 through 12. Painted Prairie Metro Districts 10 through 12 are located in the same general area as District numbers 1 through 9, which are located in Adams County, bounded between Himalaya Avenue and Piccadilly Road, and then by 56th Avenue and 64th Avenue. Painted Prairie Metro Districts numbers 10 through 12 are on a consolidated service plan. Portions of District 10 are anticipated to be mixed-use commercial development. Generally, portions of Districts 10 through 12 are undeveloped. The Painted Prairie districts currently have the tiered model service plan ARI mill levy language that increases over time. As required by joining FRIA, the service plans must be amended. The service plan amendments include the same as districts numbers 1 through 9, which is replacing the model service plan ARI mill levy with a flat mill levy, adding a definition for a term called the ARI mill levy agreement, which is a future agreement between the district and FRIA regarding the transfer of ARI mill levy revenues. And finally, the amended service plan adds a requirement for an agreed-upon procedures engagement, which is a report that a CPA provides once the Board of Directors transfers to future property owners. We do have a district representative here tonight to answer questions, but they have no separate presentation.
Does the applicant wish to give a presentation?
No.
Does anybody wish to speak on this issue?
No.
Questions of staff or the applicant? Seeing none, the public hearing is now closed and a motion is in order. It's moved by Councilmember Gardner, second by
Coombs.
Second by Mayor Pro Tem Coombs to approve item number 12E. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, call for the question on the adoption of item number 12E.
Councilmember Andrews.
Approved.
The motion passes unanimously to adopt item 12E.
Clerk, now please read the title to item number 12F.
Item 12F is public hearing consideration of ordinance 2026-11, approving an amended and restated service plan for Sky Dance Metro District Number 1.
Public hearing is now open. Presentation by staff.
Good evening, Michael Kerrigan again, Department of Development Services. This item is a service plan for the Skydance Metropolitan District Number 1. The district is located in Adams County, generally between East 56th Avenue and East 57th Avenue on the south and north respectively, and North Piccadilly Road and North Tibet Road on the west and east respectively. Skydance Metro District Number 1 is currently undeveloped but anticipated to include mixed-use commercial and residential uses. The district currently has the tiering concept for the ARI mills as described in the model service plan, which increases over time. The district is joining FRIA, which requires amending its service plan, and those changes include replacing the model service plan ARI mill levy with a flat 5 mil, adding the definition of a term called the ARI mill levy agreement, which is a future agreement between the district and FRIA, which will regard the transfer of the ARI mill levy revenues. And they will add a requirement for an agreed upon procedures engagement, which is a report that a CPA provides once the board of directors of the district transfers to the future property owners. That is a concept from our model service plan. We do have a district representative here tonight to answer questions as well. Thank you.
There's no presentation by the applicant?
No.
Very well. Does anybody wish to speak on this issue?
No.
Questions of staff or the applicant? Seeing none, the public hearing is now closed and the motion is in order.
Mayor, motion to approve 12F.
Moved by Councilmember Gardner, seconded by
Second.
Councilmember Wiles to approve item number 12F. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, call for the question on the adoption of item number 12F.
Councilmember Andrews.
Approved.
Councilmember Lawson. The motion passes unanimously to adopt item 12F.
Will the clerk please read the title to item number 12G?
Item 12G is public hearing consideration of ordinance 2026-12, approving an amended and restated service plan for Sky Metro District Number 2.
Public hearing is now open. Presentation by staff.
Good evening, Michael Kerrigan again for the last time with Development Services Department. So this item is a service plan amendment for the Skydance Metropolitan District Number 2. The district is located in Adams County, bounded generally between East 57th Avenue and East 60th Avenue on the south and north respectively, and North Piccadilly Road and North Tibet Road on the west and east respectively. Skydance Metro District Number 2 is currently undeveloped but anticipated to include mixed-use commercial and residential uses. The district currently has the tiering concept for an ARI mills as described in the model service plan language, which increases over time. The district is joining FRIA, which requires amending the service plan, and those changes include replacing the model service plan ARI mill levies with a flat 5 mill levy, adding the definition for a term called the ARI mill levy agreement, which is a future agreement between the district and FRIA regarding the transfer of ARI mill levy revenues, and then adding a requirement for an agreed upon procedures engagement, which is a report that a CPA provides once the board of directors transfers to the future property owners. That is a concept from our model service plan. And we do have a district representative here tonight to answer questions. Thank you.
Does the district representative or the applicant wish to give a presentation?
No.
Is there anyone who wishes to speak on this issue? Seeing none, questions of staff or the applicant? Public hearing is now closed. Motion is in order. Moved by Councilmember Gardner, second by?
A second.
Second by Councilmember Andrews to approve item number 12G. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, call for the question on the adoption of item number 12G.
Councilmember Andrews.
I approve.
The motion passes unanimously to adopt item 12G.
Clerk, now please read the title of item number 13A.
Item 13A is introduction of ordinance 2026-13, amending section 134-2M of the City Code pertaining to updated state law requirements for child restraint systems and vehicles.
Brief presentation by staff.
Good evening. I guess I'm staff. Megan Platt, Deputy City Attorney. What this ordinance does is updates our adopted model traffic code provision just due to some updates to Title 42 to make more rigorous child restraint systems. This ordinance just brings our code in parity with state law. So if you have any questions, let me know.
Questions of staff? Seeing none, motion is in order. Moved by Councilmember Gardner, seconded by Councilmember Hancock to approve item number 13A. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, call for the question on item number 13A.
Councilmember Andrews.
I approve.
Councilmember Hancock. Thank you. Councilmember Lawson. Thank you. The motion passes to adopt item 13A.
Clerk, now please read the title to item number 15A.
Item 15A is a public hearing consideration of Resolution 2026-39, making certain findings of fact regarding to proposed annexation of a parcel of land located in the southwest quarter of Section 25, Township 3 South, Range 66 West of the 6th Principal Meridian, County of Adams, State of Colorado, 2.496 acres.
Public hearing is now open. Brief presentation by staff.
Yeah, good evening, Mayor and Council. Jacob Cox, Director of Development Services. A petition for annexation was filed with the City Clerk for annexation of a 2.496 acre parcel owned by Topias LLC. This parcel is located at the northeast corner of 26th Avenue and Piccadilly Road. Attached vicinity maps in the backup materials. City Council made a finding of substantial compliance regarding this annexation on February 23rd, 2026. The annexation process follows state law. Annexations are considered over 3 council meetings. Tonight's agenda is the second meeting in that process, in which City Council conducts the public hearing, considers approval of resolution making the finding that the land is eligible for annexation, and considers the introduction of the annexation ordinance, followed by the zoning ordinance. There's no presentation from the applicants, but we're happy to answer any questions.
Does anybody wish to speak on this?
No.
Oh, I guess it does.
It's a public hearing, so if he wants to speak on it, you need to check in with the clerk real quick and give her your info and come down and speak. Right here, clerk.
We already voted.
You can actually, if you just make sure you finish that after you speak, but you have 3 minutes if you want to come up and state your name and address for the record.
Yes. Good evening, Council. My name is Rob Gonzalez. I live at, well, I have land at 22031 East 26th Avenue, which is adjacent to the land in question here. Just on behalf of myself and the neighbors, I'm a general contractor and a real estate agent. These particular pieces of land are a little bit of an anomaly. Everything around us is zoned I-1 industrial, and we are the last holdouts. We are 100% on board with the Tapias rezoning their land to I-1. We are in full support of it. I plan myself to come before this board and have our land zoned I-1 too, if at all possible. So I just wanted to let you know that.
Okay.
And, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Does anybody else wish to speak on this issue? Anybody else? Okay, very well. Questions of staff or the applicant? Seeing none, public hearing is closed and a motion is in order. Moved by Councilmember Gardner, second by Councilmember Lawson to approve item number 15A. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, call for the question on the adoption of item.
Sorry, I have a question.
Councilmember Bergen.
So on annexations, if you're a property owner and your land is annexed into the city, then the developer, I mean, this is being annexed because of a developer, right?
This is the property owner pursuing petition for annexation.
The property owner. Okay. And so once it's annexed in, then
They could sell to a developer.
they could sell to a developer. Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Further questions? Seeing none, I'm sorry, further discussion? Seeing none, call for the question on the adoption of item number 15A. Oh, did I close the, oh.
Yeah, we need to have a motion.
I'm sorry, motion is in order.
Oh, you guys did? Okay, so that's right, Gardner and
Okay.
Lawson, so, yeah.
That's-
You're confusing me, Mayor.
Oh, no. That's when we know we're in trouble. Okay, call for the question on the adoption of item number 15A.
Councilmember Andrews?
Losing my mind.
Approve.
The motion passes unanimously to adopt item 15A.
Would the clerk now please read the title of item number 15B?
Item 15B is ordinance 2026-14, annexing a parcel of land located in the southwest quarter of Section 25, Township 3 South, Range 66 West of the 6th Principal Meridian, County of Adams, State of Colorado, 2.496 acres.
Brief presentation by, it's not a public hearing. A brief presentation by staff.
Jacob Cox, Director of Development Services. In conjunction with that prior presentation for the overarching 3 items here, this is the ordinance, item 15B. This item is the initial reading of that annexation ordinance for that 2.496 acre parcel at the northeast corner of East 26th Avenue and Piccadilly Road. No separate presentation for the applicants, but we're happy to answer any questions.
Okay, questions of staff? Seeing none, motion is in order. Moved by Councilmember Gardner, seconded by?
Mayor, second.
Second by Councilmember Lawson to approve item number 15B. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, call for the question on the adoption of item number 15B.
Councilmember Andrews?
I approve.
Councilmember Lawson?
Yes.
Thank you. The motion passes to adopt item 15B.
Will clerk now please read the title to item number 15C?
Item 15C is public hearing and consideration of ordinance 2026-15, initially zoning a parcel of land measuring 2.5 acres located at 22201 East 26th Avenue, northeast of North Piccadilly Road and East 26th Avenue, approximately 1,600 feet east of the intersection, to Business Tech District and amending the zoning map accordingly.
Public hearing is now open. Presentation by staff.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. I'm Ben Bravnik, presenting for staff tonight. The applicant, Tapias LLC, is requesting a zoning map amendment to initially zone 2.5 acres to the I-1 Business Tech Zone District. Planning presented this to Planning and Zoning Commission on March 6th, and they recommend to approve to City Council. The vicinity map shown illustrates location of the site in the context of the surrounding area. The parcels to the north and east are undeveloped portions of the Majestic Commerce Center master plan. South of East 26th Avenue is a warehousing facility within the Aurora Commerce Center, and to the west is an Adams County residence with outdoor storage. The existing zoning is A3 agricultural zoning of Adams County. To the west, it is A3 as well, and it is surrounded by I-1 Business Tech Zone District to the north, east, and south. The proposed zoning is I-1 Business Tech District. The objective of the I-1 district is to provide employment centers with offices, light manufacturing, and associated retail services. The proposal and the surrounding areas are within the industrial hub place type of the Aurora Places Comprehensive Plan. The industrial hub place type is characterized as being primarily dedicated to a mix of commercial and industrial uses and can be a significant employment center. The UDO lists the approval criteria that is shown here on screen. Staff's evaluation of this application and how it meets the criteria is shown on the next slide. Staff finds that the zoning map amendment complies with the code criteria for approval for the following reasons. The proposed initial zoning is supported by Aurora Places as part of the industrial hub place type and will contribute to the economic and fiscal success of the city. The potential size, scale, and height of the proposed initial zoning to I-1 are compatible with the same surrounding I-1 zoning and parcels planned for the business, tech, and industrial uses. The property will remain the same owner, therefore there is no dislocation of tenants or occupants. With that, I conclude my presentation. Thank you.
Does the applicant wish to give a presentation?
No, he's not.
Does anybody wish to be heard on this item?
No.
Questions of staff or the applicant? Seeing none, public hearing is now closed. Motion is in order.
Motion, Mayor.
Councilmember Horton. It's been moved by Councilmember Horton, seconded by?
Coombs.
Seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Coombs to approve item number 15C. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, call for the question on the adoption of item number 15C.
Councilmember Andrews?
I approve.
The motion passes unanimously to adopt item 15C.
Public invited to be heard. Oh, I'm sorry, reports. Councilmember Andrews, reports.
No report, Mayor. Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem Coombs, reports.
Mayor, thank you. Since our last meeting, I was able to attend the Affordable Homes Stable Communities convening in Seattle, in which we learned about business non-displacement tools that I think will be really useful for the DDA, as well as some community partners who can be available to support implementing those tools, as well as community wealth building, redevelopment of areas with co-location of housing and businesses, support for tenant organizations, small site acquisition, use of public lands for affordable housing and community development, policy co-governance models, and right of first refusal policies for the development of affordable housing and local business. So I have a lot of resources as well, if any of my colleagues are interested in just seeing those resources, connecting with any of the organizations that were a part of the convening. And then, excitingly, my 4-year-old has started T-ball with the Aurora Pros T-ball. So thank you to our pro staff. It's been very adorable and fun to have them be a part of that process. I also participated in the Arapahoe County Justice Coordinating Committee Racial Equity Subcommittee, and they had informed me during that meeting that we have space for representation of the city, not only from council, but also from APD, and a request for representation from APD, that we also can have representation on the Behavioral Health Subcommittee of the Justice Coordinating Committee, and that we have seats for both council and APD staff on the Justice Coordinating Committee itself. So we'll include that in the updated list of outside boards and committees when we get to that point of the Rules Committee, but also if any of my colleagues are interested in serving on those committees, please connect with me, or you can also connect directly with Commissioner Summy, who's the chair of the Racial Equity Subcommittee.
I'm sorry.
Pardon, Mayor?
I'm sorry, please continue.
Okay. I also participated as a member of the Local Progress Immigrant Justice Steering Committee, in which we talked about just ways for our community to support each other and support our immigrant neighbors, especially with the issues that are taking place at this time. And we had our first Rules Committee, in which we, first of all, thank you to our clerk, Katie Rodriguez. We're able to bring forward the resolution today to restructure the rules, which weren't particularly well organized, and she took the time to organize those so that it's easier for us to work through. So thank you, Katie. We also discussed for initial introduction, the conversation on decorum, but we talked about the structure overall of the committee, which will include, for each topic that we discuss, 3 sessions. So one for introduction of just talking about the topic initially, taking general public comment, then a second session for open discussion, which will allow council members to ask questions and engage with members of the public who come for public comment, and then finally a session for committee recommendations to the council as a whole, which will also still have public comment available. And then for all of the items that we recommend, those will go to a study session and then a council meeting. So there will be about 5 different opportunities for members of the public to comment on the items that we bring forward from the Rules Committee. In addition, at least for the decorum conversation, we'll be planning a community listening session in Town Hall, and we may do that on other topics as needed. And there will be an Engage Aurora page that'll include opportunities for public comment online, in addition to the in-person opportunities. And all of the packets and minutes are also available on the Policy Committee page. So those are, that's the summary of what we did at that committee. And thank you to Councilmember Jackson, Councilmember Medina, and the mayor for also serving on that committee. And then finally, congratulations to Holly Burkholz for being the acting chief deputy for the city attorney's office.
Okay, Councilmember Gardner. Councilmember Jackson.
Oh, she's gone. She
Okay.
sends an email.
Councilmember Horton.
All right, so since the last council meeting, a few things to update folks on. Had an opportunity to meet with Jeff with the Brothers Development organization. We talked a lot about affordable housing, what that looks like across Aurora, potential opportunities to reinvest in programs around supporting our elderly communities so they can age in place. So lots of ideas out there. It's really, next step is going to be about narrowing down, right, the funnel of all the conversations. The next is had the Ward 1 Town Hall in March. I really appreciate the representative from Excel from coming out, talking to neighbors. It's been and continues to be a huge concern for folks is poor lighting, old wiring, and none of it's underground. Or not, I shouldn't say none of it. Especially in older Aurora, it is not underground. And so I really appreciate him coming out, answering all the questions, and willing to follow up. We also had our folks with transportation come and talk about the bus rapid transit, the BRT, which is going to be breaking ground, looks like in May. And so construction will start here on the Aurora side. So something to be aware of if you frequent Colfax at any time. And so with that being said, the next thing is I was able to go to the Fitzsimmons Community Coffee Conversation, meet some folks who work on the Fitzsimmons and Anschutz Medical Campus, understand some of their needs, what they're expecting from the Fitzsimmons development. A lot of moving pieces there. Happy to engage offline with folks who have questions. Attended a community meeting with the Food Justice of Northwest Aurora, community gathering, talked a lot about them as an organization, the goals that they have to service Northwest Aurora and bring food justice to our community. As we know, we are a food desert. We don't have a large standard grocery store. We do have Lowe's Mercado. If anyone has not been, I highly recommend. And so many of the other mercados and markets, but there's still a need. And so, really appreciate organizations like that show up and address that gap. I also had a town hall around animal welfare. It was really resident-led. I had community members come to me very concerned on a number of issues when it comes to the animals that call Aurora home. It was unfortunate timing with, as you all heard, for those who've stuck around, Mrs. Cifuentes, who was viciously attacked by 3 pit bulls. If folks, there is a GoFundMe out there, highly encourage if you have the means to donate what you can, and I wish her a speedy recovery. conversations, and then to hold myself accountable, I have 3 follow-ups that I have to give to folks, and one is around the Community Development Corporation, follow-up email, an organization around a working group. Second is the conversation around civilian oversight of law enforcement. There's some moving pieces, some updates on timeline that I will be sending out. If you are not on that listserv, please reach out to me. My email isghorton@auroragov.org. And then lastly, quite recently, a few follow-ups with those who attended the Animal Welfare Town Hall. So thank you.
Councilmember Wiles.
Thanks, Mayor. This Thursday, we have our town hall at the Aurora Highlands Welcome Center, so I hope to see everybody there at 6 o'clock. Also on 4/16 at the Aurora Central Library, there is a meeting at 6 o'clock about the new Signature Park, which will be in Ward 2, so that's exciting. If you have feedback, please make sure you attend. On 4/25, I have a lot of people reaching out to me about watering in their gardens, and so the city will be offering a water-wise veggie gardening at the Mission Viejo Library, so make sure you attend that if you want to find out how you can still garden this summer and be conscientious about the water. And then finally, on April 23rd, the city and the Mizell Institute are doing a Eyewitness to History, where they're going to be discussing eugenics, propaganda, and how they filter into genocide, which is a very relevant topic today. So if you have time, make sure you attend. It is free to the public. Thank you.
Councilmember Medina.
Thank you, Mayor. The mayor and I went to a ribbon cutting of Dunkin' Donuts and / Jimmy John's that's off Colfax and Sable that's now open. Also, my town hall will be next Tuesday, April 14th at the Active Adult Center, 6:30 to 8. I believe we're going to have Animal Shelter and potential APD talking about their drones systems. Thank you.
Councilmember Hancock.
Thanks, Mayor. Last week, the mayor and I visited our local Costco, which is one of the largest producing or busiest ones in the area, to talk about safety, security, and how we can assist our local businesses in safety and security around their buildings and what they can do to be good stewards and partners with making sure that their businesses are safe, secure, and operable. Also, I met with some constituents this week with their concerns about being part of boards and commissions. I don't know if you know this, but just in case, we have 22 active boards and commissions and committees composed of residents and volunteers. There is a link online where you can sign up for boards and commissions. Some of them are council member appointed, but there are current openings like on the library board. It'll help you get to know a little bit more about how things work in our city. And again, as we are all citizen servants, this is an opportunity for you to serve and meet some new people. My next town hall is going to be on May 21st instead of May 14th. I wanted to tell you that now because you should see that in your water bill coming up. I wanted to also let you know that we include a 30-minute networking activity. So if you have a business of any kind in Ward 4, we want you to come out and mingle, and share your business cards and ideas with those in the neighborhood. Ward 4 is an active, thriving community with the best food culture in the city. So we just want all of you to know that we are alive and well, and come on over and share what you have. That concludes my report, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilmember Lawson.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to thank Jason Batchelor for coming to my town hall at Heather Gardens. He got a lot of questions, so we appreciate your time on that. My next town hall will be April 18th at 10 a.m. at Heather Gardens, and then April 21st at 6:30 at Mission Viejo. We're going to have our court administration and detention. They're going to be presenting at that meeting. Also, I don't have just a formal Pfizer report, but we do have about 35 days into the legislative session ends to just to relay some information to Ms. Tabachak. There was a bill on street racing and it was killed. So that was unfortunate that that was killed, but it was. So I just wanted to let you know that if you already didn't know. Your other issue, I'll see about addressing that and see if it has a nexus to the city. One of the things I have participated in for about 8 years, maybe even longer since I've been on council, is the Arapahoe County Mayors and Commissioner Youth Awards. And what this does, it celebrates teenagers who have demonstrated have overcome significant obstacles and boundaries. And we get these essays. We had about 18 this year from Adams County schools. We had some in different jurisdictions as well. So we did actually look at those essays. Everybody's getting a scholarship. We have about $17,000. The city of Aurora does contribute to that. But just reading those essays and what the kids go through and the significant barriers, but also what they are trying to do, I think is significant. And again, I've been serving on this commission with the county commissioners and other leaders in other jurisdictions for about 8 years. If any of my colleagues would like to go to the actual ceremony where we actually do give out these scholarships, and the dinner is fantastic. It's going to be at May 7th at Center Point from 6 to 8, and we have a lot of Aurora kids who actually are getting the scholarships. Everyone's getting something. But we did have a lot of youth from Aurora schools. So it was great to participate in that this year. And Mayor, that's the end of my report.
Thank you. Councilmember Bergen.
Thank you, Mayor. Just want to give an update regarding Arapahoe Road construction that is still ongoing. I think we're in our 6th month possibly. Unfortunately, we've had some hiccups with the water infrastructure project. And actually, I was told by the general manager of water that the contractor did not meet all their expectations. So that is part of the problem. So we will probably continue to see work being done through the end of April. Unfortunately, I think we probably won't be using that contractor ever again. Hopefully not. Had planning economic development meeting this week ago, and then I also had the roadway committee meeting that I chair for E470. And then Skywatch Park, we had our first session, and this is one of the parks that is off of Smoky Hill near Wheatlands. We used to call it the Dome Park because there's the big radar ball, but it's been now changed. Thankfully, the name is now Skywatch Park. But anyway, I'm on a committee with a number of people that are in the Art and Public Places Commission, and what we did at our first meeting was basically decide on maybe some concept ideas for the public art that would be put into that park once it's constructed. And then we also came up with criteria for the RFP that will be going out. Once that RFP goes out and we have artists that respond to it, we'll narrow that down, and then we'll interview the finalists, the last 3 artists as finalists. And then once we have decided on an artist for that project, then we will then evaluate the artwork that is done. We're working on, unfortunately, on a small budget, so maybe not as much art as we wanted. So anyway, that's very exciting. I responded to a lot of constituent concerns on traffic. I get a lot of traffic concerns, and I met with a gentleman that was very concerned about traffic impact on Gar Trail that is going to be increased due to a new Chick-fil-A that's coming in. And you know, everybody loves Chick-fil-A, and the lines are very long. So anyway, I submitted a council request to see if we can make any road improvements to mitigate that. And this Friday, I will be attending an all-day strategic planning session. I chair the Region 9 Opioid Abatement Council, and so I've been on it for 3 years, and this is the first time that we're actually doing a strategic planning session, so happy to hear about that. And then lastly, I did scare our general manager of water because I played an April Fool's joke on my council Facebook page, and it was regarding us lifting water restrictions. But most people got that it was a joke, and because I said it was due to complaints. And we're not going to change our water restrictions just because we got complaints. So anyway, he first started having a heart attack, and then he realized it was April Fool's. That's my report.
That's cruel.
It's
Well,
not
thank you.
cruel. It was funny.
The mayor's position is full-time, so I tend not to, I go to a lot of events, and so I post the big ones on my Facebook page, and you can find it at Mike Hoffman Facebook. I will be doing a Spanish language talk radio show on this Thursday at 8:30, 11:50 a.m. on Hablemos Hoy is the name of the show. We'll be talking about the drought, La Sequía, and our Stage 1 water restrictions. And then I'll be doing a town hall meeting on April 18th at the Central Library from 2 o'clock to 5:30. With that, we have another public invited to be heard.
Yes, the first individual we have is Tanya Tabachek.
Mayor and council members, first thing I just want to put in another plug for caregivers. I know that Ms. Lawson's going to check in that for me. I just want to really put a push for that and just ask for the council members to reach out to your congressman and whatnot. Besides myself and my parents, my brother is a full-time caregiver, and so is his wife. She's a nurse that takes care of my brother, my nephew Tatum, who right now she is like a nurse, and this is very important, so it's going to hit them hard. So if you could, that'd be greatly appreciated. Another aspect is with I feel really bad and fortunate for that lady that got attacked by the pit bulls. But a lot of the dogs, it's mainly their owners and how the owners treat the dogs and how they put them in cages and mistreat them and pull them and hit them and kick them and treat them like disgust, and they don't care about them. And a lot of people don't realize it's not it's how the people themselves treat those animals. And a lot of times people think that the dogs or the cats are just animals, but they're not. A lot of times it's how they are treated by the humans. And people don't see it like that. And I hate when people say that, oh, they're just animals. But the dogs that are in my house, they're not just dogs. That's my family. I care about them. So I just wanted to say that. And also I know that I was listening to the study session, and one of your council members has said that they couldn't do the job. Sometimes we go through hard times, but you have support. People have support, and there's other council members, and then you have people within your family, and you have other powers higher and other people that you could get resources and stuff to support you. So don't give up. There's always ways around you to get help. So just always believe in yourself. Thank you.
Median Schaffner, followed by Auntie Anderson.
So I want to open up my closing remarks and just say that City Attorney Pete Schulte, I appreciate you saying out loud that the individuals at the Geo Center are there on civil hold, because oftentimes the commentary is that they are somehow criminals or illegal or aliens, and we use obnoxious language, but I appreciate that you said that they were there on civil hold. So I guess this is me waving at you at the intersection of goodness, and maybe I'll see you at another intersection. But I wanted to take the opportunity to lift back up the story of Miss Della Jordan that you all have been hearing from at these council meetings for several iterations. Our organization has been paying attention to her story, and because she continues to come back, that means that she is not getting the support that she anticipated from this body of leadership and the leadership of Aurora or the Navigation Center. So I just want to put you all on formal notice that Ms. Della Jordan now has the full backing and all resources of the epitome of Black excellence and partnership, and we are going to walk alongside her to ensure that she has every remedy at her fingertips so that she can get the resolve that she deserves. This amazing woman who has a brilliant story has served this country, so that should resonate with a few of you that have touted your military or your service background. She is a woman who has found herself vulnerable in some of the worst ways that should resonate with several of you on the dais. She is also a woman of culture who has to navigate these systems, and we all know that these systems tend to dismiss the narratives of those who look like her. So when you have a constituent that has to come to you consistently to get results, that is signaling that whatever it is that you are doing is not enough. So I recommend that you take a play out of our book, because what we are going to deploy is not only outreach for the sake of concern, but we are going to deploy outreach with structural, timelined, intentional opportunity for resolution. And as I close, I just want to preemptively say, I second whatever you're going to hear from this guy.
Ayante Anderson.
There is one thing that I would definitely suggest to council that's an easy fix. When members are at this podium, turn off your microphones because you are able to be heard on the YouTube stream. As I turned my back away, one of your council members, Francois, decided to shout blasphemy under her breath, into her microphone at least, that it was picked up on your YouTube stream. And so if that is how you are going to address folks that come to you, Francois, may everything that you think about crumble. Everything that you do in your life should crumble. You should find out what that means. Everybody black in the room, everybody black in this room knows what that means. And now, to the rest of the council.
Is that a threat?
And to the rest of the council, I hope that we are able to find some more diversity. And when you are appointing individuals for the most diverse city in the state of Colorado, every single individual that you swore in today as a judge was a white person or white presenting. You have amazing African immigrants that are should be able to serve as judges on the bench. Latin individuals that should be able to serve on the bench, African Americans that should be able to serve on the bench, but the most diverse city swore in all white presenting individuals. And then the individuals to represent under the city's attorney's office all came in front of you, and not a single one of them presented as a person of color. Now, that may not be their life story, and they may have individuals in their family or their lineage that come from people of color. But I did not see anybody that looks like me. There are 4 black city council members, so I know that there are black people that are qualified to serve this city. And it is my hope that in the future, we get to see ourselves reflected standing before you, taking an oath. Because we deserve to be seen, heard, without any commentary from members of your council. Have a wonderful evening. We'll see you on the 20th.
That was the last individual. Mayor. That was the last person.
Seeing no further business before the Aurora City Council, meeting is adjourned.